Is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Some of these nights, debating on whether we're about to go live or not. Certainly, we don't tend to go live if there's not any major breaking news. So there are some days you don't see us on, and it's simply because we don't want to just be on for the sake of being on. We like to deliver an entertaining program, and if there's nothing going on, we don't force it. So that's what we've always done since day one. If there's much to talk about, we don't just come on for the sake of coming on. But unlike under Biden, under President Trump, there's almost always something going on. It just almost always is something going on under the Trump administration. And of course, today is not going to be any exception. There is, as you see on the monitor behind me, former FBI Director Jim Comey has been officially indicted. Now, if I'm correct, they're going after him for perjury, indicating that he lied under testimony, lied before Congress, I believe in 2017. This is going back. It's old enough that the statute of limitations in which, the time in which you can even charge him was about to expire on Tuesday next week. So they only had till Tuesday of next week to charge him with this. And President Trump clearly wanted to do that, but he was having trouble with the current attorneys that be in the Justice Department. And it appears that he finagled a way to make that happen by getting rid of what was there and putting somebody else in there would do it. So this is what we're dealing with: is that Jim Comey has been officially indicted. We'll play a few clips because there's a couple things I want to talk to you guys about. But I'm going to ask right off the bat: are we okay with this? Do you guys feel confident that this is justice? Or do you see this as some form of vengeance? Are we okay with a president, a Justice Department doing this? Because one of the biggest complaints coming from President Trump throughout Biden's term was that the Biden administration, the Democrats, were weaponizing the Department of Justice. Now, some are saying that's what we're dealing with here. So I'm asking you folks, are we okay with this happening? And we're going to be certainly taking on callers and trying to figure that out, because that's what it seems like has happened, is Trump has put in the people that will do his bidding.
Director James Comey has been charged with lying to Congress in a criminal case filed just days after President Donald Trump urged his attorney general to prosecute him and other perceived political enemies. The charges make Comey the first former senior government official to face prosecution in connection with an investigation into Russia's election interference that Trump and his supporters have long derided as a hoax and a witch hunt, despite multiple government reviews showing Moscow meddled on his campaign's behalf in 2016.
Now, what I want to say, because the next clip I'm going to play, in my opinion, is kind of humorous. It might be humorous to you folks as well, because it was starting to look like Comey might get charged, or better yet, he might get indicted, which same thing. He might get indicted, charged with perjury, indicted for perjury. It was starting to look like he might get indicted earlier this week, and it kept culminating. But President Trump himself was asked about the possibility of indicting Comey. Listen to what Trump had to say.
Well, I can't tell you what's going to happen because I don't know. You have very professional people headed up by the Attorney General and Todd Blanche and Lindsay Halligan, who's very smart, good lawyer, very good lawyer. They're going to make a determination. I'm not making that determination. I think I'd be allowed to get involved if I want, but I don't really choose to do so. I can only say that Comey's a bad person. He's a sick person. I think he's a sick guy, actually. He did terrible things at the FBI. But I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen.
By way of yes or no in the comments, anybody believe that? Does anybody believe that President Trump had no idea whether they were going to charge Comey or not? Only a few days before the statute of limitations were about to expire, Does anybody believe that he was totally in the dark on whether they were going to do this or not? I would love to hear your comment on that. But because I find it humorous. I'm going to just say, me personally, I do find that kind of humorous, but maybe you folks have a difference of opinion. I'll tell you why I find that to be a tad bit humorous.
President Trump has nominated White House aide Lindsey Halligan to be the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia after a falling out with the current U.S. Attorney. That office has been investigating New York Attorney General Letitia James over alleged mortgage fraud, but no charges have been brought forward. On social media, the president posted a message directed to Attorney General Pam Bondi urging action.
This is what I want to talk about. This came from President Trump. You ever heard of a politician getting caught on a hot mic? Meaning that they were caught saying something that they never meant to be public. Like maybe you're whispering into the ear of one of your aides and you don't realize your lapel microphone is on, so the conversation gets heard. What President Trump did is hot mic'd his Truth Social account. He posted something on Truth Social that was not meant to become public. And it was to Pam Bondi. He stated, "I have reviewed over 30 statements and posts saying that essentially same old story as last time. All talk, no action. Nothing is being done. What about Comey, Adam Shifty Schiff, Letitia?" In other words, what are you going to do about these people? He's basically saying that, I'm hearing the same old story as last time. There's nothing to charge these people with. And he wants something done. So he said nothing is being done about Comey, Adam Shifty Schiff, Letitia. They're all guilty as hell, but nothing is going to be done. Then we almost put in Democrat-supported U.S. attorney in Virginia with a really bad Republican past, a woke rhino who was never going to do his job. That's why two of the worst Democrat senators pushed him so hard. He even lied to the media. This is a bunch of what he said to her that was not meant to be public. But he's made it clear to Pam Bondi that he wants James Comey, Adam Shifty Schiff, and Letitia James charged with crimes. And only a few days later, now we got some way, somehow, James Comey has been charged with perjury. So it's pretty clear he is after these people, but yet you heard him just say a minute ago, he has no clue if they're going to be charged with anything. Great people on the investigation. I don't know how it's going or whatever, but it's pretty clear that President Trump is the fuel for this. And if I have it queued up, I want you to hear something, because to me, I believe this is really quite telling in regards to how President Trump feels about this. And this continues on from this message.
Former FBI Director James Comey, California Senator Adam Schiff, and James.
They were ruthless and vicious. I was impeached twice. I was indicted 5 times. It turned out to be a fake deal. And we have to act fast. One way or the other. One way or the other. They're guilty. They're not guilty. We have to act fast.
Last month, the FBI raided the home of Trump critic and former...
You hear him pissed off that he's been impeached and things of that nature. And then he says they have to act fast. How many more ways can you describe I'm trying to get revenge on these folks without actually coming out and saying I'm trying to get revenge on these folks? That's clearly what is happening, is that President Trump is seeking revenge, at least in my humble opinion. I do want to hear from you folks if you have a different opinion. And do you think this is a good thing to do? Do you think that should we be okay with this? Is this justice or is it vengeance, as I'm stating? I'd like to hear from you folks. And one of the things I'm going to ask before we start taking calls and reading in the comments, is there a possibility, a remote possibility that this could backfire? Now, when I say backfire, I mean, like, for instance, what happened with Jimmy Kimmel. When he got rid of Jimmy Kimmel, you even had folks on the right that were starting to cry out that this is a clear-cut violation of free speech. You had your Paul Ryans, Mitch McConnell spoke up, Candace Owens spoke up, Ted Cruz said he was acting like a mob boss. A lot of folks on the right spoke up because this was a clear crossing of the line, interfering with your First Amendment right to free speech. Do you see a possibility where some folks may see what he's doing to Comey as a clear violation as well. In other words, we blame the Democrats for years in regards to weaponizing the DOJ. I'm going to assume there's plenty of folks on the right that see what President Trump is doing at this point as weaponizing the DOJ as well. So if it was wrong when they believed that Biden and the Democrats were doing it, how is it any less wrong now? Is it okay? I don't mind wrong as long as we're the ones doing it. So we're going to talk about it from that standpoint. But is it possible this may backfire where you may start having some folks on the conservative side of the aisle going against putting in attorneys that are simply going to do whatever the hell you tell them? And make no mistake about it, on some of the liberal networks today, by the way, tap the screen and get the likes on up to 10,000. Certainly you guys can do that if you're watching on TikTok. Smash that like button if you're watching on YouTube. You know how the program is ran. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone. This is an uncensored program as always. You can be critical of anyone in this program, including yours truly. We go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. Everyone gets to speak. So understand this is zero censorship here. But we're going to ask that question, that is it possible that even folks on the right may become critical of President Trump, the fact that he is clearly weaponizing the DOJ to go after his perceived enemies? We're going to ask if it's possible that folks on the right may start crying out the same way they did when they saw President Trump clearly going after the First Amendment, free speech. And how many of you folks remember this?
Former President Donald Trump sitting down with Sean Hannity in Iowa last night, where the Republican caucus will kick off in just 6 short weeks. It was an hour-long town hall, but it was this quick exchange that caught everyone's attention.
The media has been focused on this and attacking you. Under no circumstances. You are promising America tonight you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except
Look,
what?
he's going crazy. Except for day one.
Meaning?
I want to close the border, and I want to...
Obviously, we're well past day one. We're well into the, I believe he's probably getting close to day 200, is he not? Yeah, 100 days is 3 months, 6. He's got to be well in the 200 category. Do you think that he told the truth there? That he would never use the government as retribution against his enemies? Do you believe that he told the truth there? So looking in the comments real quick, going after criminals, says Erwin Court. Well, the problem is the statute of limitations on this one expires, I believe, on Tuesday, and you had several attorneys resign. The one that was being forced to go after Letitia James, he resigned. They came back and said there was nothing to prosecute Jim Comey on, and he put in somebody else. Folks, understand, just like with the fake electors, Rudolph Giuliani, Sidney Powell, another attorney for President Trump, they all lost their law licenses. You can actually lose your law license if you bring to court a case you know is not legitimate. I do want to point that out. Will Trump leave the White House and kind of do what Biden did with his son and Liz Cheney and just pardon a bunch of people? I don't know, but understand, if these folks are doing President Trump's bidding when they know there's nothing there, the liberal government after Trump leaves office will probably end up going after these people. Some of these lawyers that don't have, some of these lawyers are clearly just doing what Trump is telling them versus what is reality. If you're trying to finagle the law to make what he says fit, where year one law school, what he's doing is wrong, Trump is going to ride off into the sunset a wealthy old man. He's going to live a nice lengthy life. He's already made it to 80. Trump is not going to face the music. There's no going to jail or any of that for Trump. But the problem is people around Trump have a history of losing a lot. The Mike Lindells, the Giulianis, the Sidney Powells, and I don't think they seem to realize that. But if you're bringing cases to court that you know are not legitimate, you can be held accountable for that. And we'll see what ends up happening. So looking in the comments, he doesn't care. He'll throw anybody under the bus, says Miss Mobetta. Well, yeah, but the lawyers know this shit. You got lawyers that are, as opposed to doing something that is criminal or that is unethical, they're resigning. the ones that are choosing to do it anyway, then yeah, they're going to have to pay the price. They're going to have to pay the price. So if you're bringing cases to court and you know those cases are not legitimate, you're not going to have any excuse when when you're brought up for review. Let's go ahead and start the program off, though. He's not 80. He just turned 79. Okay, he's almost 80. All right, fair enough. You got me by a few months. If bringing fake charges make it to where you will be held accountable, this is accountability. Step in that statement. Well, just simply saying if they can show, because listen, there are attorneys that have resigned out of protest for what Trump is telling them to do, like the one that was told to pursue Letitia James. That guy resigned. So if that guy is put under oath in the future and they ask him, did President Trump himself personally order you to go after people? If he's under oath, he has to answer that correctly, or he could end up like Jim Comey is right now. So that guy resigned as opposed to doing what Trump wanted, apparently, against Letitia James. So he's a free citizen roaming around out there somewhere. The Democrats come in power and they actually call him to testify. They start asking him those questions. If he got letters or correspondence from Trump, that next attorney that actually did do that stuff is going to be in trouble. Let me go back to the box, because those attorneys that are resigning are probably not happy they had to quit their job as opposed to doing something they thought was unethical. So listen, let's just be clear. When you're trying to get attorneys to do shit that they know is illegal, you don't think they're saving those emails and notes and all of that correspondence, knowing that it may come up later on? And you know Trump just posts and send shit in. You don't think them folks are keeping that? Mike, good evening. Welcome to the program.
What's going on, Tim? Hey, listen. So, first of all, everybody tap the screen, share the live. Let's get Tim up to 15K.
Thank you.
We can do that. You know what? Let's get up to 15K as long as you have me up here. I bet you some of the maggots start tapping their ass off.
Be nice to the MAGA. Be nice to the MAGA.
Fuck them. Listen. Have you seen the indictment?
No, I have not.
Okay, hold on. See, this is listen, hold on. This is the fuckery that I'm talking about. Tim.
I'm listening.
It's a 2-page indictment, Tim.
Okay.
This is 1 page, and this is the other page.
Hang on a second. Hold on. I'm going to, I think I can expand you. Okay. Let me see what are you posting? Okay, this is the indictment.
This is the indictment.
All right. Not much.
Page, and that's the 2nd page.
So there's not much there. Not much at all. Wow, that's a very small amount of items.
Count 2, count 1.
Okay.
That's it. If you notice on the indictment, they have down here they normally have the sources from their evidence.
Right.
You know, down in the small print, you'll see where they have evidence to support the indictment. Do you see anything down there, too?
No.
Do you see anything down? Do you see anything down there on the bottom that supports? You see anything?
No.
Listen. So let me tell you what's going to happen. She's going to lose her job. She's going to lose her license to practice law.
You talking about Pam Bondi?
Just like this doesn't have this.
You mean the one? Was she a real estate lawyer or whatever she was? Yeah, you talking about the one that brought the charges?
Yeah, Lindsay Halligan is going to lose her license to practice law behind this bullshit. You watch what I tell you, Tim. Listen, you just said it. Trump doesn't care. This was going to expire on Tuesday of next week.
Statute of limitations, yes.
So statute of limitations. So they rushed to put this out there, and her dumbass, just like Sidney Powell, just like John Eastman, just like Rudy Giuliani, doing his bidding, and they all end up getting sanctioned or barred.
I'm not going to call her a dumbass for doing Trump's bidding, though, because in her defense, you already know how I have to defend some of these folks, and this is a MAGA person I'm going to defend. Right now, Trump is still in year 1, so I don't know how much she is financially worth, but if you do Trump's bidding and you got 3 years to do it, you could make enough money off of him that you don't mind losing your law license after this is over with. I mean, if he properly rewards you, you know, you follow his coattails or whatever, and, you know, whatever the case may be, the man got so much money orbiting around him, just hanging around Trump, money can fall off of him enough to satisfy a regular, average, everyday person. So at the end of it, yeah, she's probably going to lose her law license. I don't disagree with you. Hopefully she's not doing anything criminally, but yeah, the chance of her losing her law license is pretty damn high.
you watch what I tell you. Yeah, it's pretty high. And do you think he's gonna? Do you think he's gonna protect her?
No, but like I said, it's a gamble. If I no, but like I said, it's a gamble. I'm a lawyer. You know, I'm an attorney. I don't, like I said, I don't know what her financial wealth is, but if you ride on Trump's coattails for 3 years and do his bidding, maybe in those 3 years you will have made enough money, done enough networking to get other types of jobs in the conservative circles that you won't mind losing your law license.
Okay, a couple things real quick. You can put yourself back on the big screen. I just wanted to show you that bullshit. Yeah. Number one. Number two, can you name me someone that name me an attorney that came out in the circumstance that you just named that has done Trump's bidding?
I don't know what's going on with Sidney Powell. She was part of the fake electors. She was his attorney. She lost her ability to practice law. There was a really pretty girl that took a mugshot and smile. She was in that fake electors crowd. She lost her law license. I don't know what she's doing at this time.
John Eastman?
Yeah, most of them don't come. I mean, Giuliani lost his ability to practice law. Now, he's still deep within conservative circles, so there may be money flowing to him on the back end because he paid off Ruby Freeman and Shane Moss. So, I mean, career-wise, Rudolph Giuliani was old enough that he probably didn't give a damn anyway. It's just, but it is the legacy, it is the embarrassment of going out that way. And yeah, the woman that's doing this and the one that's being, pushed to pursue Letitia James in New York is probably going to face the same music.
Yeah, and you brought up a really good point that I want people, because every now and then you'll bring up a good point.
Every now and then, just every now and then.
Your lights went out too. Boy, you're looking like what's going on with your lighting?
I don't know, because all the other devices show it well. Something wrong with
Donald Trump. I can only see the black ones. Just the black ones. Remember when he said that?
Yes, I do remember that. I do remember. Why is it? I don't know why it went on this particular, I don't know why. Let me see. Okay.
There it is.
I guess it's something with the white balance or something on the camera, I guess, because all my other cameras are fine, so I don't know why it's doing that.
Maybe you don't like that big ass picture of Trump you got on your screen back there. But listen, something you said makes wow, look at that. Look at God.
Oh my God. Okay,
that was crazy.
Go ahead.
God is trying to tell you something. No, but so listen. You said something earlier that I want people to remember, because you were right. It won't be just her, because this attorney that resigned, you better believe that he's going to be pulled into a hearing here shortly.
Yep, and testify.
About why he resigned, and that's going to be on record. And if any of that shit is contradictory to the 2 pages I sent you, if he testifies in front of the House, that shit is admissible in court, my friend.
Yeah. I mean, even if he just simply testifies that President Trump was sweating him, because Trump is not, the Department of Justice is supposed to be an independent entity. It's not supposed to be getting pushed by the president to pursue people. And there's almost certain that President Trump is calling these people, because you see the message went out to Pam Bondi. So either Trump is calling them directly or Pam Bondi is doing it. But it's pretty clear that they're trying to urge these people to do this stuff.
Well, he said it publicly. So Trump said they're not moving fast enough. And he said Pam's doing a great job, but he needs to get somebody else in there to move this along quicker for all of them. It's been taking too long and we're losing credibility. That's what he said. Yeah. You didn't hear him say that?
Yeah, I heard him say it. So why do you think so many Americans are okay with this? I mean, he's obviously using the Department of Justice to do his bidding against his enemies. And there's at least half of America that are totally okay with this, because they believe, well, they treated him wrong, so he should be able to take revenge while being president.
Because, like I told you the other night, I'll say it again, I don't care how anybody feels. This is what racism and white privilege looks like in this country.
How are you getting racism out of this, though? There's everybody involved in this is white.
And everyone that's supporting him is white, and they don't care who it hurts as long as they get to have their white privilege protected.
I don't know if I see white privilege in this. I mean, I see political privilege. I mean, because everybody involved is white and rich. with the exception of maybe Letitia James, and she's not exactly poor, but everybody's white and rich, so I don't see the race part of it.
His supporters aren't. You said his supporters are okay with it. You said that his supporters are okay with it. They're not. Most of them aren't rich. So he's protecting their ideology and their white privilege. Because the funny thing, isn't Comey a Republican?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, and so was the other guy they don't like, Mueller. Which my guess is Mueller probably is like, maybe I should go to Fiji. It's a good time of year to go and visit. By the way, in the comments, one of my viewers is saying that Darlene is saying he's not taking revenge. All these people hurt this country. What about the notion that maybe these folks deserve to be criminally charged?
Did I just show you 1.5 pages on an indictment? It's not even 2 full pages. Listen, it's not even 2 full pages if you take off the header and the signature. It's 1 page. So if there's so much evidence, where is it? Tim, Donald Trump, I want somebody, Jeremy, when you bring your bitch ass up here, I want you to answer this question for me. Show me one person that has been arrested and sentenced for the things Trump has said they are guilty of. Since he walked down the escalator, name me one person that's been arrested and convicted based on the shit that he has said they've done in the last 16 years. One.
That's a really, really good question, a good point to make, because Trump has obviously accused some of everybody of doing criminal shit. And the fact, you got a good point. Like, I don't know anybody, out of all the people he's accused of doing things, I don't know anybody that's actually faced the music. Even while he was president the first time, obviously this time he wants things to be a little bit different, but you raise a good point. Nobody that I can think of.
Okay, 1B to that. And has he ever produced one shred of evidence of wrongdoing by the left? On anything he's accused him of. Name me one, Tim. In terms of producing something that the left has done, and he has concrete evidence on it, I can't think of anything. Maybe some of my beloved MAGA viewers that are currently watching, give me something I would like for somebody else. If you got an answer for that, you think the liberals are talking shit and don't know what the hell they're talking about. If you have an answer for that, something that Trump has accused the left of doing, and it's turned out to be true, I would like to know that, because he accused Mueller, he accused Fauci, he's accused Jim Comey, he's accused folks when it came to the 2020 election. He's made a lot of accusations, but in terms of actually proving it, that's a real good question. Those are the questions that when we're being faced with all of this nonsense from his supporters, those are the questions I like to ask. Then show me. Stop telling me, show me.
Gen X says Russiagate, which he didn't prove it. He didn't prove it because Mueller came forward and said, if there was enough to charge Trump, I would charge him. If there was enough to exonerate him, I would do that too. So no, Russiagate was something that Trump was not found guilty of, and Trump then jumped up and said, "See, that shows I didn't do anything." Now the guy made it clear he don't have enough to exonerate you. He just don't have enough to convict you either.
Right. And look, and Jeremy said using FBI to suppress conservatives on Facebook. That's not what happened. They were the reason it happened because Trump was spreading that violent and vile rhetoric that they thought would be harmful to people. That's why Facebook and the media at that time, well, really was Facebook, was suppressing why he lost his accounts on there and Twitter because of the shit he was promoting out there.
Here's something else I don't see. And Zuckerberg and Elon Musk did come forward and say that Trump was right. People were censoring folks on YouTube and on Twitter and Facebook. But here's something I don't understand. If folks on the right are favorable to ABC canceling Jimmy Kimmel because they say, look, your employer can get rid of you if you say something that crosses the line, then that wouldn't that apply to Zuckerberg and whoever used to own Twitter? If you say something on their platforms, they can also censor you. What's the difference? If you can't point to X or better yet Twitter and complain about them censoring you, but you're totally okay with Jimmy Kimmel being censored under the same notion that this is a privately owned corporation or website or platform, they have a right to pick and choose what they can let through. If you're okay with Jimmy Kimmel getting censored, then you would have had to been okay with Twitter and Facebook doing the same thing.
Not cult members. Cult members aren't okay with that shit, Tim. Cult members are only okay with they're okay with. Listen, let me give you another example of what I'm talking about. Because they don't use it. When they found the ammo for Tyler Robinson, they went straight to the ammo about what was written on it, right?
Yeah.
Come to find out what they said was written on it wasn't really what it meant. It was from some online shit. But now the guy in Dallas had some writing on those conveniently very well-placed ammo.
What are you getting at? You trying to say they making this shit up?
Man, listen, Tim, let me tell you. I'll say this. You know I do my research. And here's the thing. Before this whole political cycle, I've always studied cases. Always. I grew up in a household where there were always cases going on. My dad was in law enforcement for 30-some-odd years. I spent a lot of time around it. My uncles were judges and lawyers. I've seen this shit. I'm looking at these cases, and you can go back and align another case. The way the FBI handled that case, look at that's the devil. That's the devil. You can say whatever you want. But
I don't know why it's only this device doing that. I mean, I don't know why it's doing that.
Every time you put the demon up,
I don't know why. It's not doing it on any of my other devices.
That's some poltergeist shit right there. That's what's going on. But listen, it's clear that Cash Patel and the FBI is mismanaged all of these cases to fit the narrative. It's not even close to be. It's just me. It's just me. I'm watching how this case is handled. I'm watching how they've come out and talked about evidence that will make it hard for them to get a jury. People aren't thinking about that. You're talking about the weapon. You're talking about how you found it. All of this in a press conference. And so how are the people that are in that community supposed to be impartial as a juror? They're tainting that. A good FBI director would never do that shit. Never.
Well, maybe Trump is hoping. I think Trump is hoping that he will, just like he found some attorneys to charge Jim Comey, get some favorable judges too. Some favorable judges that can sway this thing against Comey as well. So we'll see how it goes. But to me, allowing this really, it just puts the legal system itself on its head, because I think just about anybody in the legal system knows we're off the beaten traditional path now. We're off the traditional path. We're doing stuff at the behest of Trump.
At the behest of Trump. That is fascist. That's fascism. That's a fact. That's fascism.
But my viewers are saying, listen, these are people. All Trump is doing is bringing criminals to justice.
And again, so I'm about to drop. I'm gonna let you do your thing. I'll be listening. If you want me to come back up, I will. Ask the two questions. Number one, show me where out of everything Trump has said in the last 16 years, show me an arrest and a conviction. And number two, show me any evidence he's brought forth to support his claims. Any. Ask those two questions.
They're pretty fucking tough. Mike, appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you. They're pretty tough. And I will say, in regards to what he's asking, it is because Trump has made a lot of allegations without proof. Dominion voting machines, cats and dogs, and I mean, he does make a lot of wild statements. Trump derangement syndrome, more like Democrat derangement syndrome, says young Bicey boy. Yeah. Eric Hill, I agree. Trump devotion syndrome is a real program. Trump devotion syndrome. Wow. What do you mean sway, Tim? You mean corrupt? I'm trying to be politically correct sometimes. Tap the screen. We should have been at least around 20,000. We can make that happen. Let your thumbs not be lazy. Tap the screen, get the likes up. He really doesn't need it. He only needs to keep repeating it to make it real, says a king. Keep repeating what? And Didi says, you should do your own research, Mike. It's too much reality unsee. I stick to what I can control. All right, you guys are discussing this among each other. But they didn't indict a Subway sandwich. They always say you can indict a ham sandwich. And like I said, my humble opinion is that there are going to be some legal careers that are going to roll behind this. I just think with President Trump making it clear that he wanted Pam Bondi to go after Letitia James, Jim Comey and Adam Schiff in that email or in that Truth Social message that was not meant to go out public, and then all of a sudden Comey gets charged a few days later, almost guaranteeing, after seeing that message, you can almost guarantee that both Letitia James and Adam Schiff are going to get charged with something. So they're going to get charged with something. So that message will also likely come out in the future when deciding whether Trump was trying to weaponize the government or not. Him sending that message out, I would assume Pam Bondi is going to have to go and testify before court. Now, he probably will pardon a lot of people. When Trump leaves office, you're talking about Biden pardoning his son and Liz Cheney and some of them folks. Trump is going to probably pardon a whole lot of people because a lot of you folks may not be aware, but his borders are Tom Homan. That dude also took a bag of fucking cash, I believe, from an FBI agent or something like that. Tom Homan, the one that's doing a really good job securing the border, that dude was about to go down in a federal case. Trump became president and the case got tossed out. So there's a lot of people on the way out that Trump is probably going to have to pardon because you know damn well if he don't save Tom Homan, there's going to be a whole lot of Democrats salivating to get that dude. Anyway, looking in the comments, to get a lower property tax. What do you mean by that? She ran on locking him up. Are you kidding me? No, Eric, she did run on locking him up, but is that a crime? Let me just say it like this. In regards to folks, the judge, I think it was Letitia James that ran on locking President Trump up. Did you know? Remember, what is O.J. Simpson? You know, after the whole Nicole Brown Simpson, if the glove don't fit, you must have quit, and he ended up being found not guilty, and a whole lot of people were pissed off. And then all of a sudden, he got railroaded in a Nevada case and got like 9 years in prison. What a lot of folks don't realize is that judge in Nevada that railroaded O.J. Simpson, she also ran promising that if she got behind the bench, she would go after O.J. Simpson. She ran on that as well. It doesn't come up as much. It didn't come up as much during that time, but a lot of them apparently do that. They run on being, going after criminals. But she did the same thing. Anyway, looking in the comments, control group take 2 and don't call me in the morning. All right, anyway, we'll go back to the box. Tap the damn screen. We should read around 20,000. But looking in the comments real quick, Trump, better yet, Will G. Trump ain't shit. You're always going to hear that. Trump ain't shit. Will G says Comey didn't do shit but his job. No one else but Trump was affected, yet the enemies of Trump are the enemies of the country, as if Trump is the country. It's turning into the 1930s. Very strong message. Certainly when it comes to MAGA, that message is accurate. The enemies of Trump is the enemy of MAGA, period. If Trump has a problem with you, MAGA has a problem with you as well. Now, in regards to Comey didn't do shit but his job, there's a lot of people that disagree with that. I'm watching The View today, my left-wing programming that I like to get as well as right-wing stuff. What is her name? Joy Behar had a big problem with Comey. She was like, what Trump is doing is wrong, but I like him going after Comey because of what he did to Hillary Clinton. So Comey did go above and beyond a typical FBI director and got himself involved in shit. He's got enemies on both sides of the aisle. But what's happening to him now is President Trump being pissed off and taking vengeance on him. I don't think anybody, some of you folks do disagree with that. I don't think that I was going to say, I don't think anybody disagrees with that, but I actually can see some folks do believe Comey somehow, some way, is a criminal and he did all kinds of shit to the country. I don't see it. I see Trump, certainly after the message with Pam Bondi, just simply wanting to go after his adversaries. Going back to the box, trying to get 20,000, tap the screen. Jeremy, you were called out. Good evening. Welcome to the program. Gangsta Grandma, you said he didn't do anything. Well, it'll come out. You see Mike put the indictment up there. They don't have anything on it. So you're probably right. Jeremy, good evening.
Hey, glad you got to entertain the lobotomite for a few minutes.
What are you getting at?
It's just that, I like that you cater to the special needs.
Oh my God. Are you trying to make reference to my last caller?
No, if the boot fits.
Oh my goodness. All right, so you're saying Mike is special needs. I'll let that roll off. So what do you think what's going on here? Do you see this being, as I'm indicating, some sort of vengeance play?
Well, this is the great part about not being MAGA but still being conservative. I can call out any side that I want.
True.
I'm pretty much free from any shackles, and nobody can say nothing to me.
That's a good position to be in. That's a good position to be in.
This is the wrong thing for President Trump to go after Comey for, because I'm sure he can absolutely go for the fact that the FBI was targeting conservatives and making it so that way on platforms like Facebook and YouTube that those platforms were being threatened and intimidated by the FBI in order to suppress conservative voices.
Threatened and intimidated, but threatened and intimidated how? If you got a conservative platform and you're putting, I hate Obama or Sleepy Joe on there, what are they threatening to do to you? Threatening and intimidating you how?
And all it takes is just like the FBI contacting the people in charge, or just saying you need to start or doing X, Y, or Z. I don't have the full details, but Mark Zuckerberg openly talked about it on Joe Rogan. And here's the thing: I don't have a problem with like a certain platform being like, we are conservative catering, but that's not what Facebook ever advertised itself for, or what YouTube advertised itself for. Nor do they advertise themselves as the opposite. They were supposedly just a platform.
I don't think you need to advertise that, Jeremy. If I open up a hardware store, I don't need to advertise that I'm a family value store or something like. If you come work for me and you say some crazy shit, I have a legal right to fire you. I don't have to advertise what you can and can't say.
Except if you have established rules, which when it comes to the content that you can post on Facebook and YouTube, they do. You can't play favorites when it comes to who you enforce them on.
Well, the problem is, can you prove, or better yet, how difficult is it going to be to prove that they were playing favorites? I mean, there's probably plenty of. Go ahead.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. It shouldn't be as hard as they're making out to be. I don't know why Trump is being so stupid here. He could absolutely go after Comey for something like that, and for the FBI as a whole. He could absolutely do that, but said he's playing the stupid game and going after him for perjury. What the fuck kind of bullshit is that?
But here's the problem, and I agree with you. This is probably not a good thing that Trump is doing, but the problem is, even the stuff you're talking about, how long does the statute of limitations last on that stuff? I mean, what he's going after Comey on now, the statute of limitations was going to expire on Tuesday. This was about to be up. I mean,
Well, personally, I don't know the statute of limitations on something like that. However, I will say, if you really wanted to, you could probably just open up all the case files about Comey and his cronies doing something like that, and just expose it to the public. At least that would ruin his reputation.
Yeah, but here's my question. When you look at everything from the ongoing wars that still continue in Ukraine versus Russia, we're looking at what's going on with Gaza, grocery prices, etc. Is this really a good use of the president's time and our tax money to go after this guy? I mean, obviously nobody is being hurt going forward by this. What he did is years old at this point. Some of this stuff is going back almost a decade. Out of all of the things we can focus on, is this really, he hasn't met many of his campaign promises, have not been met yet. Why go after this?
You can go after more than one thing at the same time. And honestly, I think that it's definitely deserved. Now when it comes to priorities, you can argue what you want about that, but you cannot deny that it is deserved.
Yeah, but it deserved. I guess what I'm looking at is this. Okay, let's say Comey is found guilty for perjury back in 2017, which is what this case is about. Obviously, the guy has no additional criminal history or anything like that. Even if they get him, I mean, what is the punishment going to be? It's going to probably be something really mild. I mean, like, you think you're going to give him 20 years or something for this?
They should be going. Yeah, but again, I don't think they should be going after him for perjury. But let's say they somehow get him for perjury. Remember Al Capone?
Okay.
What did they get him on?
Tax evasion.
How long was he locked up for?
He was locked up for the rest of his fucking life.
If they want to get you, dude, if they have anything on you, if the FBI wants, if the FBI or any of the federal agencies or the government in general wants to get you on something, the feds will absolutely shove everything up your ass and say, take it.
No. I mean, that's what they're doing to Letitia James right now, is they're getting her on mortgage fraud. Obviously, the only way that's going to happen is somebody went through her shit with a fine-tooth comb to find out anything she did wrong. They, obviously, once Trump took control of the IRS, they went over all the paperwork she's filed, and they went looking for Letitia James.
They have all the time and all the money, and then again, I'm not even on the side of Trump when it comes to doing this for perjury reasons. I think there are plenty of reasons to go after Comey outside of perjury. And the primary one being the one I've been mentioning, about using your power to strong arm social media sites into suppressing one side of the aisle and unevenly enforces the rules of that platform. That platform says that it gives their user base.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Just like with him going after evening talk show host Jimmy Kimmel, and even many folks on the right.
Is this a whataboutism I'm about to hear?
No. This is going to be direct connection. This is not a whataboutism. But I'm not even about to bring a liberal up. But in regards to him going after Jimmy Kimmel, and many folks on the right, because Jimmy Kimmel had bipartisan support. Mitch McConnell spoke up, Candace Owens, Ted Cruz said Trump was acting like a mob boss. I mean, you had a host of conservatives speaking up because they believed it was a clear violation of the First Amendment free speech to take Jimmy Kimmel off air. What I'm asking is it possible that same type of outcry could happen with Comey, where folks realize this is a clear-cut case of you being vengeant and using the Department of Justice as your own branch of government to go after people? Is it possible it could backfire? Because that's why Jimmy Kimmel is on the air, is because it backfired. Even conservatives started getting pissed off. Could this be the same way? Because understand, if we allow Trump to do what he's doing and a Democrat becomes empowered in the future, you have opened the door for Democrats in the future to use the DOJ as we can say whatever in the past, but this is pretty out in the open. He's using the DOJ as a weapon. If we let him get away with that, we are opening the door for future presidents to do the same. Can you see conservatives maybe speaking up against that?
I can see that happening, but again, it's because of what he's going for Comey on. If he went for him on something legitimate, I don't think you'd be hearing a peep.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. You reap what you sow. Plenty of presidents have violated rules before, but it's never been good. But the left has done this before too, and people thought that Biden was going to be better. He wasn't. He did it just as much of going after his own political rivals as Trump did.
Well,
and honestly,
the thing about Trump, though, is he promised not to be a typical politician, and he was going to drain the swamp. And now he's in there, and he's doing exactly what he was accusing swamp creatures of doing.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Okay, I'm just saying, don't open Pandora's box to begin with. Now, do I think that Trump should be doing that same thing in return? No, because that's like if somebody is saying, like, that's like somebody throwing mud in your face and you saying, well, you know what, I'm going to now jump in the mud so it doesn't affect me. It's like,
I think
not making things any better.
You're saying don't open Pandora's box. I'm going to submit to you what he did with Jimmy Kimmel. The box is already open. Once he did something like that, and then, of course, this with Jim Comey, following that letter to Pam Bondi about going after Letitia James and Adam Schiff, once he's done all of that, to me, the box is already open. Even if he don't succeed, the fact that he tried to get rid of Jimmy Kimmel's First Amendment free speech rights, I think the box is already open.
Do you want him to do it more?
He's going to do it more no matter what the hell I want.
No. Do you want him to do it more?
No. But what I'm saying is I think the box is open in the future. After Trump is gone, he's done enough already that future presidents he's got immunity. That's something we never wanted a president to have. You want a liberal, would you want crooked Hillary to have immunity? The next president now has immunity. So he's already opened up the box to let folks do things that the right is not going to like in the future.
No, I wouldn't want that. The same way I don't like the fact that she has such high body count. and I'm not talking about the schmexual kind.
Well,
come on, we know there's a list of people who somehow ended up falling off a cliff that they never stepped over in the first place.
I know about the death list. I've heard about Hillary's death list, but can we really have a conversation about that while we're actively keeping the Epstein files from coming to light? This guy has the ability, campaigned on it, and now that he's in there, he's doing he is deliberately trying to keep the Epstein stuff from coming to light. Why would he do that?
And well, that's the thing. Again, this is the great part about not being a part of like loyal to one side blindly. I can say whatever I want. So, I personally think that that's a great travesty, and I think that he should open up the case files to Epstein. Thing is
but do you see it like, now I agree with you that he should, but do you see it like I'm saying, where not only is he not doing it, it's pretty clear he does not want the Epstein information to come to light? Do you see it that way, where he clearly does not want people to know what's in the files?
Yeah, I definitely see it that way.
And you voted for him, so you're really not happy, huh?
Yeah, but either way, Tim, here's the thing. We could go back and forth about who's doing what and who's not, but I think I want all parties to face the music for what they do, especially the left that still thinks it's okay to commit acts of terror.
What do you mean by acts of terror?
Kirk and now ICE in what was it, Texas?
I'm going to what I'm going to say.
So
you're talking about the ICE where they lost 2 detainees in that sniper incident. And opening fire at a wedding. What happened? I didn't hear about the wedding.
You didn't hear about that? Oh, you didn't hear about that, did you?
No.
Yeah, some psychopath decided to open fire at a wedding and shout "Free Palestine."
Yeah, I'd have to look that one up. But one of the things I don't
tolerance. You know what I'm saying?
Well, here's the problem, though, is why is Trump yelling out left before we even know who the people are? The guy who took out Charlie Kirk.
Who in the right is saying "Free Palestine"?
Probably no one. Probably no
exactly.
one.
There you go.
Probably
That's
no
all.
one.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just like who on the right is saying like "Hey, fascist, catch," or shouting "Bella Ciao," a historically left-wing communist chant.
Well, I don't know if I totally agree with you. Certainly, I know my right-wing audience, my MAGA is not going to agree with me when I say this, but I'm still not 100% sure that the guy who took out Charlie Kirk was some strong leftist. I'm not. Take away the transgender roommate, and I'm not seeing shit there. That guy got a whole lot of conservatism.
Hold on a minute. Well, why would he write its slogans that were only associated with the left, and the other two were neutral memes that weren't right or left? That kind of seems like it's clearly on the left, especially since his own family and friends have both said that he became much more left-wing over the years, and his roommates and him were both considered black sheep of the family.
But I'll push back with 2 things. First of all, I'm not certain that those things written on those bullets, I'm not certain that all the information they're releasing to us is actually truthful, because the text messages between the alleged shooter and his transgender, that stuff does not look like how a 20-something-year-old would text. They're not using abbreviation. Huh?
I texted with long, well thought out sentences.
Well, I'm just saying, it to me and a lot of others, those text messages back and forth do not look right. So, and I will also point out, you said how his family viewed him as a leftist or whatever. Since when do we go by what the family says? I mean, President Trump's got family members that say awful shit about him. Pete Hegseth's own mom painted him out as a womanizer and a terrible person. We ignore that. And all of Bobby Kennedy's family don't favor him. We don't care about what their families say, but all of a sudden this guy takes out Charlie Kirk, and suddenly his family, somebody we don't know, becomes trustworthy. How does that work?
Okay. Come on. Let's do a little Occam's razor here. Let's just say that we completely ignore the he said, she said nonsense of the family, right?
Okay.
No one on the right is writing Bella Ciao.
I don't believe the bullet stuff. I'm just simply saying, I know I'm being conspiratorial. I'm not 100% certain, because listen, Trump not only is over the FBI, he's controlling them. I'm not 100% certain of the information being released on these cases because Trump rushed to judgment and said Charlie Kirk was taken out by a left-wing, what do you call it, a radical leftist before we even knew the identity of who did it. So it would not surprise me, just like when he said they're eating cats and dogs, a lot of times his people will run to come up with ways to defend what he said, even if there's no proof on it. I got all kinds of videos from people sending me shit from Haiti and Cambodia of people eating dogs, trying to defend what he said. So it would not surprise me if Kash Patel.
Hold on, Tim. That's not analogous at all.
I wasn't done yet. It would not surprise me if Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and the likes do the same stuff as MAGA voters do. If he says something that's outrageous, because what's her name? Sarah Huckabee Sanders got caught doing it in real time during his first administration, where he had said something wild. She was being questioned on it. She was making up some bullshit to make what he said legit, and he was at home on Twitter tweeting out something else, and she had to answer for why. Clearly what you're saying now is a lie because your boy is at home tweeting something else out. They come up with explanations, just like locker room talk. Trump never came up with that.
It's a little harder to lie about what's on bullets and stay consistent with that without someone calling bullshit.
Okay. I'll say it like this. Let's see what comes out at trial. If that young man admits to writing that on the bullets, you got me. I'll concede. But if he says he didn't write that, then I need to see more proof. I'm not 100% sure that they're not. I mean, you see, this is a personal friend of President Trump's. That Trump wants that guy convicted. He's a personal friend of his. Trump is knee deep in that case. So I'm not 100% sure the text messages or the right, and now all of a sudden this guy takes out 2 detainees with ICE and suddenly he writing on bullets too, huh? What is this, a new trend where the assassins write on bullets?
Wait, hold on. You've never heard of a copycat?
Oh, that's what he was doing?
Copycat.
Right.
Yeah, he wanted to take out people that like he thought were like supporting what the right wants to do. Okay, that's easy. All you got to do to write on a bullet is literally just take a file or some kind of scribe and write on the metal.
I get all of that, but I'm not 100% certain that these guys are writing on bullets. I mean, and now you're saying that this guy's a copycat of Tyler Robinson. What you're saying could be true. I'm just simply saying I'm not convinced. I need to see what comes out at trial with Tyler Robinson and see, because obviously his lawyers are going to be fighting for his life. Let's see what he disputes. My guess is Tyler Robinson is going to end up spending the rest of his life in prison and he's not going to be executed. But that's because he's not cooperating. He's going to fight it out.
I'll tell you this right now, Tim. If the state can't get him, the feds will fuck him up. And if somehow he makes it past the feds and the states, they're going to send his ass to Gen Pop, and he's going to get torn up.
I don't doubt that there's a possibility of that. But if he didn't write that,
I would be surprised if he makes it to trial.
Well, damn. I mean, it's possible. But what I was going to say is, if he didn't write that stuff on those bullets, if those were not his text messages, then they're going to want to get him to plead guilty so that stuff never comes before court. And that way, with the death penalty on the table, get him to plead guilty. He's gone for the rest of his life. We don't have to hear him tell the public that they made all this bullshit up on me, and that's it. And obviously, that means the state's going to take their death penalty off the table as well. He's not going to work with the feds if Utah can still put him in front of a firing squad. He's not going to do that. So if he works with one entity, it's got to count towards the other. I'd like to see it because I'm thinking that if that guy went before a trial, he's going to say, I didn't write that shit on those bullets, and those are not my text messages. I don't believe it. I'm just simply saying I could be wrong as the days are long, but I'm not believing.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. You know what? When I'm right, you got to put the Trump hat on.
We'll see what we can do. All right, Jeremy. We see what we can do. I've had to do that once before, but appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Which Prince Finn my best when he comes up? Prince Finn.
King Finn. You're demoting him. King. Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm demoting him. Jeremy's ass.
All right, Jeremy. Good conversation, though. Thank you. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen. Go ahead and get your boy likes on up. Very low this evening. A lot of lazy thumbs in here. Tap the damn screen. Get us on up to 30,000. Will G says Jim Comey actually was fair. He investigated Clinton and took the time to look at the case. Nobody really had a problem until it came to investigating Trump. I disagree with that, Will. He released, in fact, Hillary Clinton claims that Comey is part of the reason she lost in 2016 because he came forward indicating that she had some email related shit like only a few days before the election. So when you say that, you says Comey actually was fair, he investigated Clinton and took the time to look at the case. Nobody really had a problem until it came to investigating Trump. There was a big problem with Comey from the Democrats during that. There was a big problem with him because he threw that bombshell out there only a few days before the election. And there were people who actually stated that they switched their vote because he indicated that Hillary Clinton might have been involved in some criminal shit. So, and I see in the comments, Jesus runs deep, or Jesus runs deep, rather, says he screwed both sides. Yeah, there are plenty of Democrats that were not happy with Comey. Basically, everything is cool as long as Trump gets to do what he wants. And if you go after Trump, you're an enemy of the state. That is 100% true. You're an enemy of MAGA. You are an enemy of the state. 100%. I mean, even the conservatives, the minute you start criticizing Trump, MAGA doesn't like you. I mean, I often bring up Liz Cheney, obviously the daughter of Dick Cheney, well-respected family within the Republican Party. The minute she started criticizing Trump for January 6th, she fell, on the wrong side of MAGA and has never been able to recover. If you look at Liz Cheney's relationship with the right up to January 5th, which was basically Trump's whole first term, she had a very respectable relationship. It wasn't until she stated how much she disagreed with what happened on January 6th, and then she fell on the wrong side of MAGA. But if you go back to January 5th, the day before, she was in good standing with MAGA. In fact, many well-respected right-wingers have fell ill of Trump, and therefore MAGA has kicked them essentially out of the party. I mean, all of the folks that became Republican nominees for president, all of them have fell ill with Trump, and MAGA don't like him anymore. John McCain, the late John McCain, Mitt Romney, they don't like the Bush family, all of them, all of the ones that reached the pinnacle. They don't even like those folks. So if you, and that's only because those folks have a problem with Trump. Their principles haven't changed. What they stand for hasn't changed. It's just they spoke out against Trump, and that put them on the wrong side of MAGA, and now they're all considered to be rhinos. His voting record was none. His voting record was more than Trump. She just didn't kiss the ring, so she had, you're talking about Liz Cheney, so yeah, Liz Cheney voted with Trump like 96% of the time. So she was down for the cause. Just January 6th alone was enough to kick her to the curb. So anyway, going back to the box, tap the screen. Still been asking you guys to do that. Get the likes on up to about 40,000. We can make that happen. Continuing on with the program, if you will, we'll go straight to M. Good evening. Welcome to the show, M. So what do you think? Do you see this as justice being necessary, or do you see Trump acting out of vengeance? M, good evening. M, you are on. Can you hear me? Okay, you're on, but apparently you're not on. So we'll move the program on indeed. Don't know what just happened there, but we'll go to Lewis. Good evening, Lewis. Definitely out of vengeance, says A. King. Well, some people said it needs to be done. Lewis, good evening.
Hey, how you doing, Tim?
I'm doing all right. So what do you think? Is this justice served, or do you see vengeance at play?
I think this is 100% vengeance in play. And not only that, it's promises kept. I don't think Trump think he has any chance whatsoever of winning this against Comey if it went to trial. He knows it's not even.
So why do it?
Just to do it.
Just to
this is nothing but this is just another thing to just mess with the Democrats or to mess with his enemies, and that's pretty much all it is. And also to distract from the Epstein files. It's really just a ploy. It doesn't matter. The outcome doesn't matter to Trump. You're right. Everybody that goes along with it, like that lawyer, she's going to lose her license because this is a frivolous.
Yeah, it's definitely frivolous. It's definitely frivolous to bring this up against these guys.
I said what, a page and a quarter, not even a page and a half. What indictment have you ever seen like that? that was just a page and a half. Most of them are like 40, 50, 60 pages. You know what I'm saying? This is fruitless, and everybody has said already that this is just a waste of time, and a lot of people have
not MAGA.
left
Not MAGA. I got MAGA on here telling me now. What Jim Comey did.
MAGA don't think anything Trump does is wrong. I'm talking about professionals like lawyers and all that. You even had a couple of attorney generals who actually resigned because they wouldn't take that to trial. Yeah. So it's like it's kind of fruitless. But that doesn't matter. It's still a win for Trump, no matter how you look at it.
How is this a win, though?
Because it's just a distraction. It's just a distraction from all the other stuff that he hasn't accomplished. This is still an accomplishment because he got an indictment. I mean, no matter how you look at it, he got an indictment.
Oh, that's supposed. I mean, if it goes nowhere, though, I mean, okay, you indicted the guy. I mean, and by the way, what is his name? Comey actually responded to this. I do want to play this clip for somebody that hasn't. It's a quick clip, but he responded to this.
On the indictment, let's take a listen.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump, but we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees, and you shouldn't either. Somebody that I love dearly recently said that fear is the tool of a tyrant, and she's right. But I'm not afraid, and I hope you're not either. I hope instead you are engaged, you are paying attention, and you will vote like your beloved country depends upon it, which it does. My heart is broken for the Department of Justice, but I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial.
You think he's as confident as he sounds, or do you think he might be scared?
I think he is confident as he sounds, because I think if he wouldn't even went up there and did that, because he doesn't have to. So that's just his way of saying, look here, this is bullshit. We're not worried. Let's just keep going. Because you got to figure, he really is a demure Department of Justice. And let me ask you this. I want to go back for a second.
Sure.
When have you ever seen the head of the FBI be at the site of a shooting?
You talking about with Charlie Kirk and Cash Patel?
Yes.
Well, they viewed Charlie Kirk as if he was a personal friend. Though I mean, I do believe the Trump administration, they got too deep involved in it. I don't like that they use taxpayer money to fly the body back on Air Force Two and all of that. I mean, they went way above and beyond for Charlie Kirk, and I know for a damn sure any liberal that is the equivalent of Charlie Kirk on the left, the right would have went ape shit if they had got all of the treatment and stuff. They're talking about putting his face on the front of a dime. So, they're talking about putting his face on it. What has he done to get all of this?
Yeah, nothing. But you got to figure, everybody has to have some kind of mortar. You have to have something. My thing, all of this stuff is just a distraction. They don't care about this guy that much. There's no way they can care about it that much. I mean, Tim, let me tell you, you say you listen to 20 hours of...
I listen even more now because I've been listening to it since. I had to listen to more Charlie Kirk today.
Have you heard anything that says he's not what we call a rabble rouser? He's just someone that's taking on kids. I mean, he's not even going up against...
Well, he debated Sink of the Young Turks. I mean, he's debated a few adults, but it is mostly college kids. But I'll just say
that's how he made his thing, was going on college campus. It wasn't going in front of a mature debater, or why isn't he debating people about stuff that's like what about all the school shooters? Why aren't he saying something to white people about what they're doing?
I don't know. I don't hit him like that. Listen, I don't have a problem with an adult if you're trying to energize folks to get them involved in politics and things like that going on college campuses. I mean, because there's a lot of educated, highly educated college people as well. I don't mind, because that's when your mind is the most at its prime. You're doing all the studying and researching. I mean, a lot, when you get to be our age, you don't do that as much.
But Tim, I just haven't heard nothing that doesn't sing out racism. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I was going to say. What I was going to say is this: I don't understand why he spoke so negatively of the black community. I don't know. I mean, people say, "Well, look, you're just mad because he's telling the truth or he's saying facts." Like, is there nothing positive about black people at all? Is it all negative? I mean, if he's speaking facts, is the actual truth that everything concerning the black community is negative? I mean, because I've been, like I said, 20 plus hours I've listened to this guy. And one thing I've said, and I can say with a fair bit of certainty, if you like Charlie Kirk, even from the sound bites and the short snippets you hear, hearing him in long form, you're going to continue. You heard those sound bites and you think he's racist, intolerant, bigoted, from those little 2-second sound ain't gonna change your mind whatsoever. I have not came across one person that listened to Charlie Kirk in full context and walked away saying, you know what, he's kind of right. Martin Luther King was awful. Or no, he's right. We don't need Black History Month or Juneteenth. I haven't heard anybody say that. If you don't like him from those sound bites, hearing the rest of it ain't gonna change your mind.
Well, let me ask you this. Since you're so even-handed, did it change your mind about it?
No.
Did it change?
And I listen with an open mind. I listen with no, it didn't. I mean, I listened to his debate about the black pilot thing. No, it didn't. No.
I am 100% to the left, 100%. But I love hearing the until they talk dumb stuff like MAGA. The guy you bring up, MAGA reacts. I can't stand it. I can't stand that. I'm gonna tell you why. Because he only goes against you.
But in defense of MAGA reacts, he did admit his goal is to defend Trump no matter what. So after knowing that, it makes more sense when he defends things that I would normally think are indefensible. He's made it clear, I'm just here to defend Trump.
People like that to me, let me tell you something. Let me think who's prominent on the left right now. I'm gonna tell you something. It's Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is leading on the left right now, as far as being the next representative on the left. Let's just be serious.
I agree with that.
But if Gavin Newsom was saying some of the stupid shit that Trump says, I would not be backing him 100%.
Well, yeah. I mean, but keep in mind, people continue backing Joe Biden when it looked like his health was clearly deteriorating. I mean, they backed him anyway.
But to me, because Tim, I'm an old man myself, so I kind of look at it like this. That's what he looked like to me. He just like an old man.
Yeah, but when you're getting up there and you're answering questions that you're not even being asked, I mean, it looked like you're kind of out of it.
Now, time out. That one debate was horrible.
Yeah.
Let's just be for real. And there ain't nobody after that debate felt any different. But that was the first.
Yeah, he did. It took him a month to actually step down after that poor debate performance. He did. He looked at us.
Because a few days after that debate, he sounded fine again.
Yeah, it's easy to do that without no pressure on you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm telling you something. He did the right thing, and everybody did the right thing. I cannot agree with that. I think he actually handicapped Kamala Harris by only giving her 107 days, and to some degree, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I think in his mind, he thought he was fine. I don't think he
but the party knew. The party knew. I mean, you got George Clooney. You got George Clooney saying he met with Biden, and Biden didn't even recognize who he was. You had George Stephanopoulos, caught on a hot mic with TMZ asking him, do you think he can do 4 more years? And he said no. And this all was before the June 27 debate. These are people that actually have access to him. They were saying this guy is not going to make it another 4 years.
I honestly think right now that I'm watching the same thing with Trump right now.
Yeah.
I mean, and nobody's saying anything about that he should step down. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what we were seeing with Biden, and I think we should have seen it. I agree with that 100%. But nobody is saying that Trump should.
They're saying Trump should begin a third term in 2028 and go to 2032.
Exactly. Now, you see what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I think where Trump is right now is exactly where Biden was. It may be even worse.
No, I think a lot of the country's going to disagree with you on that. I think a lot of the country still see Trump.
What I'm saying to you is that both Trump parents suffered from dementia before they passed away.
Okay.
That's what a lot of people.
And you believe Trump is in beginners? You see Trump is in beginner stages of dementia?
Absolutely. With the swollen ankles, with the bruising of the face, the talking about dumb stuff like sharks in the water, just all kind of crazy stuff. You know, it's just.
You know something? I'm going to defend Trump and just say it like this: anybody, if you talk as much as Trump does, you're going to say dumb shit. Now I know I'm ridiculous defending Trump on that notion, but Trump gives you probably 10 hours in front of the camera damn near every week. You're going to say a few things. I mean, he actually talks too much. Lewis, I think he got a call. All right, we're moving on. Apparently he got a call. Real quick in the comments, I did want to respond to some. Draco, one of the friend of the program on YouTube, Draco's MAGA. Draco accused me of telling folks not to listen to Charlie Kirk in long form. That's not true. I'm not suggesting anybody not watch Charlie Kirk in long form. As I just told you, I've watched about 20 hours of Charlie Kirk because everybody kept telling me he's being taken out of context, listen to him in full form or whatever. So my analysis is, if you watch him in full context or you watch the full-length videos, I don't believe it's going to change anybody's mind. But I'm not telling you don't do it. I'm just simply telling you I do not believe watching him in full context is going to change your mind. Before I take the next call, tap the screen. Lights are really low tonight. Program must suck. Tap the screen. Get us on up to 50,000. Just real quick in regards to Kirk, some of the statements he made, Black Lives Matter equals burn, loot, and murder. You listen to him for 20 minutes, you're going to walk away agreeing with that? You either disagree. When he said Black Lives Matter equals burn, loot, and murder, you either believe most of Black Lives Matter's work equals people being looted, things being burned down, and people being murdered. You either believe that or you do not. You don't need to hear him explain why he says BLM equals burn, loot, and murder for 15 minutes. That's my opinion. I don't think hearing him explain why he said BLM equals burn, loot, and murder in full context is going to change your mind. I just don't view that. I don't believe that. That's my opinion. Same thing, he said Juneteenth should not be a federal holiday. I don't believe hearing him in full context explain that in detail is going to change anybody's mind. He also don't believe Black History Month should be observed either. You either agree with him or you don't. There's no full context ain't going to change that around. I just can't see people who believe we should have Juneteenth listening to Charlie Kirk for 10 or 15, 20 minutes. He's kind of right. Maybe we should get rid of Black History Month and Juneteenth. Or the same thing about Martin Luther King being an awful person. Full context ain't gonna change your mind. I'm just telling you, I don't believe full context of any of that stuff is gonna change your mind. You agree with it or you don't. Just like when Joe Biden said, vote for me or you ain't black. Did you hear anybody on the right saying, well, let me hear it in context? No, that one soundbite was enough to go with. They didn't. You haven't heard anybody on the right saying they need to hear anything they criticize coming from the left in full context. You never hear that. Never. The sound bites are enough. All of a sudden, when it comes to criticizing folks on the right, you suddenly need to hear 10, 20, 30-minute speeches to make it make sense. That's just not the case. Remember Obama told Joe the plumber, sometimes you got to spread the wealth around, and they started accusing him of being a socialist candidate? They didn't need to hear context. The soundbite was enough. But on Charlie Kirk, you need 30, 40 minutes on to make it make sense. No, the sound bites keep. When Beto O'Rourke says, "You're damn right, I'm gonna take away your AR-15s." Did you need to hear? Did you need to hear it in full context, or was the sound bite enough? So why all of a sudden, when folks on the right say stuff, you need to hear all this context to make it make sense? When you're not doing that for folks on the left, the sound bites are enough to come to a decision on any politician. You don't need to hear people for 20, 30 minutes. That's crazy shit. Anyway, look at it in the comments. What context would make your not black if you don't vote for me acceptable? Exactly, Batman. Exactly. What context would make Black Lives Matter equals burn, loot, murder, or getting rid of Black History Month? None of that stuff is going to come into context. The soundbite is enough. You don't need to hear any more. You don't need to hear any more of it at all. That's enough to come to your conclusion. And that's why you don't hear a whole bunch of people bragging about once they heard Charlie Kirk in full context, they changed their mind. The folks that think he's cool and hasn't said anything racist at all, they've always felt that way. The thing you ignore is students picked topics. I don't care what topic is picked. If you say something that's outlandish, you say something that's outlandish. Doesn't matter who picked the topic. That ain't changing anything. Black history is African history, that's why. Like I said, you either agree that we should observe Black History Month or you do not. Period. Charlie Kirk is not going to change anybody's mind on that subject. Tim, emotional. You don't have to listen for 20 minutes. There it is again. Yeah, I don't think you do. I really don't think you do. Draco, if you want people to listen to Charlie Kirk for hours and hours on end, go for it. I don't think you do. That's my opinion. When people set their minds to something, they say thinking that a lot of people aren't open-minded. Yeah, I think a lot of people have their minds made up on a lot of stuff. Like, I'm not a fan of putting Bibles in schools. You're not going to talk to me for a half hour and get me to change my mind on that. Just like anybody who is in favor of putting Bibles back in schools, you're not going to change their mind on it. Let me go back to the box. We'll go to Broke Back Bob. Almost sounds like a 90s movie there for a minute. Broke Back Bob. Good evening.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
How you doing, handsome liberal?
I'm doing.
Is your name Tim? I think it is because I watch you a lot.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, it is.
Tim. Okay. Anyways, I really, when I requested, I really don't know what I was going to say, but I can answer all the questions you need because I'm a Trump supporter, right?
Okay, nothing wrong with that.
And obviously what happened to Charlie Kirk is awful. And I don't like that people celebrated that. That was, I just want to unsee what I saw. But anyways, what I just got on here, I'm on my days off right now. So is there anything that you need to ask me to help other people to understand what a Trump supporter thinks?
Well, since we're talking about Charlie Kirk, why did he say so? Because you're a fan of Charlie Kirk, right?
Well, I never really followed him, but I mean, obviously, after hindsight, just started looking. He was giving a platform for people to actually prove him wrong, which is cool, I mean, what's wrong with that? Going out there and giving people a platform to speak their mind, that is a perfect idea of freedom of speech if I ever heard it.
Yeah.
I mean, whether he said stuff that was possibly racist, when he said, well, with this DEI, he didn't approve of that DEI, and he thought, well, if I go on to an airline and see a black pilot, should I worry that he is meeting the merits to become a pilot, or is it just checking the boxes with these new things? And people took it as though he was racist.
Well, hold on. I'll tell you why that happens. when you think about everything from legacy admissions to colleges, to the fact that most people get their jobs not always based on what they know, but who they know. There's a lot of people that get gigs not necessarily based on merit or how they earned it, but rather who they know and how they got in. Why look at a black person and have this come to mind? I mean, if you're an electrician, you're a union electrician and you're getting close to retirement, chances are you can get your family members jobs. That ain't merit, that's because they know you. I mean, we've been doing that from day one in America. It's all about networking. It's all about who you know. Your parents getting your jobs, you're getting jobs to your friends and shit. But for some reason, you look at the black community and suddenly, when they don't have the merit, it just looks like you're targeting that community is what people have a problem with.
No, I have to disagree there, because obviously he could have added any minority.
But he didn't. But he didn't. That's the problem. All of this stuff he's bringing up is targeting the black community.
Well, DEI has to do with minorities, and it has nothing to do with the black community.
Then why is he constantly saying the black community?
It has to do with the policy of DEI used to hire people that should be abolished, and it should be merit-based in your experience and how excellent you are. And I did hear an idea, if we use a DEI in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
And 75% of the NBA is black people. But if we use the DEI thing and said 50% of white people have to be included, that's not going to work out very well, because black people are very excellent in basketball.
Let me interrupt you. No, wait a minute.
It's true.
What? No, it's not. You're not hearing me out. No, it's not. When United Airlines decided that they wanted to use DEI to get more black pilots, they did this in 2021, and they wanted to have 50% by 2030. So they wanted to give themselves 9 years to do it. If you wanted to make the NBA half white and you had 9 years to scout the entire globe to do that, I don't think the NBA would be any less entertaining than it is now. If you got 9 whole years, you can go to any country on the planet and scout people and bring. I don't believe it would be that bad. I think Charlie Kirk is wrong on that.
Well, anyways, I appreciate. I really don't want to argue with you, because I love your life.
Thank you.
And you give everybody the even chance, and that is so freaking awesome. And I appreciate you letting me up. And I don't even know what else to say besides Larry Bird was pretty good.
Come on back anytime, man. You have yourself a good night. Doors are always open to you.
Thank you, buddy.
Anytime. All right. Moving on with the program, by the way, you guys, I see some of you guys in the comments. I saw the comments you guys are talking about my last call. Tap the screen. We're not going to make... Oh, my God. Michael says that's after work drinking right. Are you suggesting my last call I had a drink after work? Is that what you're saying? Tap the screen, get the likes on up there. I'm not going to get 50,000 at all tonight, am I? There's just a lot of lazy thumbs in here. Wow, is the program really that bad? Smash that like button if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching us on Instagram, certainly follow the program. If you enjoy this type of dialogue from all sides of the aisle, we don't block, ban, or censor anybody. We are MAGA friendly. We always have been. We always will be. If you enjoy this type of programming with no censorship, you can be critical of anyone, including the host. Give your boy a sub if you're watching on YouTube. Follow the program if you're watching on TikTok or Instagram currently. That's straight up hard liquor, not beer. You guys comment on the inebriation. It's funny. Larry Bird was in the NBA during the time when most of the players were white. Says like, well, we keep in mind the NBA, just like most facets of American life, was discriminatory. So it took time for blacks to be able to play in the NBA, and make their way in there and and then start making a mark on the NBA, just like with baseball. They were banned from playing baseball for a while. It's going to take a generation. If you've been banning, if you got 100% censorship of minorities and then you start letting them in today, it's going to take time, because even when you do come over as a minority, the fans in the stadium are treating you like shit. You might be getting treated like shit in the dugout or on the bench. I mean, even other players aren't treating you right. I mean, so it's going to take some gusto, even though you're allowed to do it, to want to play, because everybody's treating you like shit. I mean, even your own team members are often not treating you right. So it's going to take about a generation once they lift those bans before you start seeing a significant amount of minorities, because each one of them is still facing a whole lot of backlash. Anyway, looking in the comments, but why make sports political at all? Well, that's how racism worked, though. I mean, it was in corporate America, it was in politics, it was in sports. You just did not want to see people of color anywhere excelling. So they made sports political. Let me go back to the box. Somebody says Larry Bird could not play as good as Jordan. Continuing on, and thank you folks that are tapping the screen. We'll try it again. We'll go to Miss Mobetta. He's forgetting the fact airlines will go out of business if they just let bad pilots through. There's no evidence that bad pilots were getting through the airlines, though. There's no, if all of these folks with DEI are DEI hires and they don't have merit, notice they're not giving you the names of anybody that has a job that's clearly unqualified. They're yelling DEI everywhere, but they're not pointing out anybody that has a job that clearly lacks the merit to have it. M, good evening.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing good. What am I getting wrong this evening with this? I mean, we're talking about Kirk for a minute, but we're also talking about President Trump is now going after Comey. Are you aware of that he's been indicted?
Yeah, I think that.
Justice or vengeance?
You could say a little bit of both.
Explain.
Well, I think you could say some people said he did wrong while he was the head of the FBI, and I think that if you let people continue to do that and get away with it, they'll probably could do it again in the future. So when you say they shouldn't do that, or it's a revenge, so other people can do it again in the future without nothing happening.
Do you believe Jim Comey actually did commit a crime?
Yeah, I think he was part of the plan to, mess up Trump's, presidency.
And I guess the first thing I would ask you is, if he did this, why didn't, because he tried to mess up Trump's presidency, why didn't Trump go after him during his first term?
Well, he didn't have really too many people behind him at the time.
What do you mean behind him?
All the people that in politics then were against him.
No, you're president.
So now he got more. He got more people on his side now. That's in his administration. The first administration, he had more Democrats.
You
behind
believe
the scenes working against him.
You believe in Trump's first administration, he had more Democrats in it. These are people he handpicked. He was picking Democrats?
Well, it seemed like they was more against him, though, because they always try to impeach him and, do stuff behind his back.
I don't quite understand where you're getting at. I mean, if Comey committed a crime, I'm not understanding why he would not have been charged. Was Trump even suggesting he get charged with a crime during his first administration?
Well, not really. He used to say he was crooked, but he said he was up to, shady stuff, but he didn't actually say he committed a crime.
Well, everybody that goes against Trump is crooked. I mean, that's what he says. If you don't agree with what he's talking about, he's going to think you're crooked. I mean, that's just kind of what he does at this point.
Well, sometimes he got the right because people do go after him.
Do they go after? Go ahead.
If you say he gonna get revenge, what would he need revenge for? if nobody did nothing to him?
Well, it could be perceived that people did things to him. That could be the way he, like, for instance, Letitia James, she didn't make up those charges on him, but he believes she went after him, just like Liz Cheney. Now, Biden pardoned Liz Cheney, but clearly he would have went after her. She didn't make up anything on Trump. She went after him for what happened on January 6th. Nancy Pelosi and the rest of them did. So they're not going after him off of made up stuff. They're going after him on stuff he actually did.
So why didn't any of it stick?
Because he got reelected. If Trump had not won the presidency again, there's a real good chance he would have paid to probably, because the case with what is the guy's name down at the case in Florida, the prosecutor down there, the white guy that ended up dropping his case. What is that guy's name? I cannot think of his name right now. But that guy was well on his way to getting Trump indicted and charged. What is it? Somebody Jack Smith or something like that. That guy was going to get Trump. I mean, but Trump got reelected.
You can't get Trump.
What do you mean you can't
get him?
What do you mean?
He's not a crook.
Oh, so he hasn't done anything wrong, is what you're saying?
No, sir.
You believe the 2020 election was stolen from him the way you said?
Could be.
Could be. What does that mean?
Whatever, some people think it was, some people think it wasn't.
Okay, why it's 5 years ago, why are we still thinking? Why isn't there evidence? If you're going to claim that the election was stolen from you, 5 years later we're still thinking? Why hasn't proof been presented?
Because it got it so undercover, they're not able to prove it.
Undercover, then if it's undercover and you can't prove it, then how you know what happened?
I say just leave it alone. It's over with.
But I'm asking, you said he never done anything wrong. He fabricated the election was stolen from him.
But did he win?
In 2020, no, he did not. But he told people he did.
So what's the point of keep going back to it?
Because there was an insurrection. People are alleging there was an insurrection. Ashley Babbitt lost her life because of that.
Yeah, that's true. But ain't no sense to keep going back to it. It's over with now.
We're going back to Comey for simply lying, but committing an act that cost Ashley Babbitt her life. Ain't no sense going back to that, huh?
They had trials for January 6th. They had the trials for that already.
Yeah. And the reason that stuff did not go anywhere is because, well, first of all, the Senate under Mitch McConnell just refused to follow through with the impeachment.
You want them to go back and do another trial?
No, I just wanted to have this back and forth because you said he never did anything wrong. Just because you got away with it don't mean you didn't do anything wrong.
But you have to think about it. Donald Trump was never a crook before he ran before president. He was never known for being, doing anything wrong. Before he was president, he was never known as a crook.
Right, just like Obama was never known as a Kenyan. Hillary Clinton wasn't known as drinking baby's blood. I mean, that's what happens when you run for president. People make shit up.
Oh, exactly.
And Trump was knee deep in doing it. He is one who was saying that Obama was born in Kenya.
Well, what does that matter? He said he was born in Kenya, was he?
He was trying to disqualify the guy from being president. He's claiming that people tried to impeach him and kick him out of office when he was trying to do it to the last guy.
Right. That's fine. I mean, I understand all that. It's all in the past, though.
What are you, Simba? What do you mean it's in the past? What is this, a lion?
It's in the past.
No, it's not. It ain't in the past. Some of this stuff is still legit.
Ain't nothing you can do about it. Ain't nothing we can do about it now.
Well, some of it, the statute of limitations may have expired on. I'm not for sure all of it's in the past. Certainly this now that he is sending the Department of Justice after all of these people, this is not in the past. This is current. This is actually current.
Right,
he's doing this stuff.
That's what we was talking about.
Right. And if it turns out that these people are simply imposing these cases on Letitia James and Comey and maybe later on Adam Schiff just simply because Trump is urging it, that's likely going to be something.
If you got people in politics that commit crimes and it's never answered for, I said it. other will try to do it again. Some people have to answer for their crimes, brother.
So what you're saying is somebody else may in the future say the election was stolen and try to prevent the guy from certifying it. Somebody else may try, because he didn't, like you said, he wasn't punished for it.
Trump didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, he did. He tried to get Mike Pence to not certify the election based on essentially nothing. The only reason it didn't happen is Mike Pence wouldn't do it. So according to you, because Trump wasn't held accountable, some president in the future may try to tell his vice president not to do it.
They had the trial, brother.
No, but they
had the trial for January 6th.
He was not held accountable is what I'm saying.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, according to you, we need to...
I'm saying right now with Comey, from him being part of the early stages of that, during the early stages of elections, if you have politicians that do stuff like that, and they're not held accountable for committing real crimes against the government, high officials like the president, the FBI, other people behind them, if they commit crimes and they're not held accountable for stuff like that, you're going to have future people trying it again.
Yeah, I don't...
say, oh, the statute of limitations is passed. When people murder some people, you know, the FBI keep looking for them for years. They don't just say, okay, you murdered them, this passed, we'll let this go.
Yeah, I don't get what you're saying, because I mean, we're talking about Trump.
And I know some people say, like my brother was saying earlier, he's like, oh, this is a distraction. Man, give it a try. See if you can hold some of these politicians accountable. Then you always want to go back and say, well, hold Trump accountable. But Trump has never been a crook. He has never done anything wrong, but other people, I say have. But before he became president, he was never known as a crook, as going to jail, going to court, doing anything.
You do realize, okay, you're saying he never did anything wrong and he wasn't known as a crook. You realize how many women accused him of sexual assault? You're ignoring that?
It's always something you want to find, but it was never.
That ain't something we want to find. The women found the courts and they said it. The women came out and said it. Nobody found it. They found us.
Was he convicted, brother?
No, but you said he wasn't known as a crook. Just because O.J. Simpson is known as a murderer, he wasn't convicted. Just because you're not getting convicted of it don't mean you're not known as a crook.
Okay, well then he got away with some girls. Okay, that's fine.
He got away with some. We're talking about rape. Got away with something with some girls. We're talking about multiple counts of rape.
So you saying, I don't know what claims you saying he did with the women, but I don't want to go there.
I think that you're seeing Trump in a different light than everyone else. You're saying he was never known as a crook. That's absolutely not true. I mean, he was known for not paying his own employees. His Trump University was known as a scam. I mean, there's all kinds of things orbiting around Trump.
If you have a business, sir, sometimes your business go under. Some business go out forever. During COVID, a lot of business went down and they never reopened. Is that known as being a bad person if your business flop?
If people do contract work for you and you just simply don't pay them, yeah, it's known as being a bad person.
He had casinos in Atlanta, and they went.
I'm not talking about casinos. I'm talking about people that did contract work for him on businesses that were still operating, and he just didn't pay them. And some of them ended up winning in court. Some of them did not take them to court because they couldn't go against a juggernaut of attorneys. No, this was not all involved in businesses that failed. He just was not paying people.
So that makes him a bad person?
Does it make him a good person to let somebody work for him and not pay him? Yes, it makes you a bad person.
How many bosses in America fucks over their employees?
And they're all bad people too.
Millions.
What does that got to do with the conversation though?
But you just pointing out Trump because he has something that he didn't pay some employees. Bosses do that across the whole country. They fuck over their employees.
Well, at least you're finally now calling it what it is. You're fucking over people. At least you're now accurately labeling it.
Saying, though, if he did that, what that got to do with anything for him running for president?
You said he's not known as a crook. He didn't do anything wrong.
And then you said he went after Jimmy Kimmel. You said he went after Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah.
He didn't go. He didn't fire Jimmy Kimmel. ABC did. You can't say anything you want on national TV, sir. They have rules and guidelines. Like you can't have profanity on there. And sometimes before your show come on, they say the views of this person don't have nothing to do with this station.
Right.
And when he said that night, Trump didn't. Yeah, Trump had nothing to do with that night when he said he didn't say get rid of Jimmy. The ABC did that.
Yeah, and I'm going to interrupt. Yeah, I'm going to tell you right off the bat. This is an actual Truth Social post from Trump after what happened, after Jimmy Kimmel got suspended. He said, "Great news for America." Hold on, hang on. We got to have a conversation. Go ahead and say what you got to say, but you got to hear the end of it.
No, go ahead.
Okay, this is what Trump said. Great news for America. The ratings challenge Jimmy Kimmel show is canceled. Congratulations to ABC for finally having the courage to do what needed to be done. Kimmel has zero talent and worse ratings than even Colbert, if that's possible. That leaves Jimmy and Seth, two total losers on fake news NBC. Their ratings are also horrible. Do it, NBC. Why is he talking about telling them to? Now he's talking about firing other night show hosts that didn't say nothing at all about Charlie Kirk. He clearly is involved in this.
Because for the past 6 years, every night Jimmy Kimmel attacks Trump.
I didn't say Kimmel. I'm not talking about Kimmel. Now
all their monologues.
I'm not talking about Kimmel. What does that got to do with it, though? They have a right to do that.
So Trump had a right to say what he want to say.
Right, and that's the point I'm making.
Right.
Did you hear him also saying that people that speak negatively of him should lose their FCC licenses?
If people speak negative of him, they should lose their license.
Yeah, did you hear that? Did you hear when he said that?
That's not going to happen.
How do you know?
Brother, come on now. Trump say a lot of stuff. Sometimes he do say stuff that's off the wall, but that's how he talk. You know damn well if the station, if you just say something negative about, they've been saying it. I've just said it. Them talk shows been saying negative stuff about Trump since he been president.
So in other words, he don't actually do it. He just says off the wall stuff about taking away people's First Amendment rights. He just says it. He don't do it. He just talks about violating the Constitution.
Ain't that free speech?
Talking about violating the Constitution coming from the president of that's like saying the cop is just saying he's going to shoot you. He don't do it. He just pulls you over and says he's going to shoot you. Ain't that free speech? That's what you sound like.
No matter what he say, it's still free speech.
Right.
No matter if you don't like it or you do like it. Yeah. If Jimmy Kimmel say something or you like it or you don't like it. Obviously, ABC didn't like it.
No, ABC.
You can't say what you want to say on national-wide TV.
ABC did not have a problem with what Jimmy Kimmel did. It was President Trump behind the scenes forcing their hand, threatening to take away their broadcast license. Something you said he won't do is why they acted. If you notice, Jimmy Kimmel came back. He didn't have to apologize. He didn't have to do shit. If they thought he did something wrong, they would have made that man apologize. They didn't even make him apologize. So clearly ABC didn't have a problem with him.
He didn't need to apologize. Good. He didn't have to apologize. Right. I didn't want no apology for him. That's good.
Because he didn't do nothing wrong.
He didn't have to. He a grown ass man. He ain't got to apologize.
No, if you
he know his boundaries now.
If you say something and your employer suspends you or fires you, before you come back on the air, you always have to apologize. Roseanne Barr even tried to do it. Whoopi Goldberg got kicked off the air and she apologized. The fact that he didn't have to apologize is pretty clear. Disney never thought he did anything wrong. That, to me, is the biggest telltale sign that some other entity made them fire Jimmy Kimmel. They didn't even ask the guy to apologize.
To you.
Okay. And to you see something different. And Miss Mobetta in the comments even makes another great point. He didn't even change his format. He came back on there doing the same shit he did. Boy, he didn't even change his. So clearly he didn't do nothing wrong. He didn't apologize. He didn't change his format or anything. He didn't do nothing wrong.
But he still, I bet y'all know one thing. He know his boundary. He's supposed to go back to what he
don't know
doing.
his boundary.
Is he a real person?
Let me before I move it on from, let me just say this. When Charlie Kirk was taken away from this earth, people said, you didn't silence him, you made him into a martyr. I did a live earlier where I told folks Megyn Kelly, one of the bigger hosts on social media, she got like 3.9 million followers. I talked about Ben Shapiro got like 7 million followers. Jimmy Kimmel now has 21 point some odd million subscribers on YouTube. He has more subscribers now than Joe Rogan. So it's pretty clear that what they did to Jimmy Kimmel actually galvanized people, and now you got a hell of a lot of people watching him online. He has 21 point some odd million subscribers on YouTube. He has more than Megyn Kelly, Ben Shapiro, the late Charlie Kirk has like 5 million. He has more than all of them combined. So clearly that guy didn't do anything wrong in the eyes of the American people. I'll give you the last word, but I got to move it on.
Okay, well, I that's good. That's good for Charlie. I mean, for Jimmy, that he got more people. Hey, if you get more, whatever you're doing, you get more of it. I praise you. I ain't got nothing against that. That's good. He's doing better, and I'm glad he's back. But he know his standard. And I remember when Joan Rivers, when she first, you couldn't say bitch on TV before, but when Joan Rivers said bitch on TV. When she first said bitch on TV, that's when you was allowed to say bitch on TV. And you just can't say what you want to say on national-wide TV.
All right. Appreciate you coming in, Em. Thank you for coming through. All right, moving on with the program. By the way, tap the screen. Just a very slow night tonight. Please, God, give MAGA the strength to stop whining for one day. Damn. He says just 24 hours of peace. Oh, Lord. Today, Comey. Yesterday, escalators. Day before, Tylenol. GSFK, make it stop. Please, amen. Wow. Hello. He said, oh, wow, that's a hell of a comment. Says, please, God, give MAGA the strength to stop whining for one day. Just 24 hours of peace. Oh, Lord. Today is Comey. Yesterday it was the escalators. Day before it was Tylenol. That is hilarious. That's a hilarious post. Tap the screen. Get the lights on up. We'll go back to the box. Lewis says, wow, what a waste. My last caller, he believed everything he was saying. I mean, he's in the tank for MAGA. Somebody better call the burn ward because the handsome liberal just toasted you. Okay, I'll take it. Thank you. Let me go back to the box. We were trying to bring up Miss Mobetta. We'll do it now. Just don't question anything and follow blindly. It's your American right to be an idiot. Yikes. Some would say that. Miss Mobetta, good evening.
Tim, you wonder why I call him mush? Do you understand now why I came up with those acronyms? Because shit like that, again, I give you a lot of credit. You have a lot of patience. Because when you hear people talk dumb shit, the evidence will be right in their face, and he'll say, yeah, but, and that's after most of MAGA's speech. Oh yeah, but, and then the whataboutisms come, and it's this thing about it's insane. That's insanity.
He was a passionate Trump supporter.
No, he was slow and had cotton mouth. Whatever that shit he was smoking, and the one before him was drinking. I don't know what the hell's going on. What is happening?
I'm trying because everybody always, suggests I only bring up liberals. I'm happy to get as many MAGA as I can. Okay, I can't control how they speak, how they sound, the intelligence level, right. But I am a fan of bringing up MAGA. There you go. That's what I brought up.
I get it. You expose their asses. And the more, like I said, the more you talk to them, the more brain cells you burn out. Like, it's oh my God, that was hard. That was hard listening to.
Well, listen, like I said, the guy, he's welcome on the program anytime. He's MAGA.
Listen, I ain't saying block, ban, or censor nobody either. However, they need to start doing a little more reading and shit. I don't know. They missing something.
No, I got accused in the comments. I seen everybody from Gangsta Grandma to Mike telling me I was not pushing back. Was I fluffing at all on that last call?
On this last one, not so much, but
not so much. I cannot win with you guys.
You wasn't really fluffing with this guy. He was fluffing his own shit. But you was fluffing earlier. I forgot even what the point was. But
what? I cannot win with you guys.
Oh, it's something you was giving Trump credit, but you always tend to give him credit. I'm almost expecting that every time you come on. Oh, you gonna give Trump credit for something? Trump is a fuck up. I'm sorry. They could ban and censor me for that shit. He's a fuck up, and you give him credit where he tends to not don't deserve it. I mean, there's with all of this, we see what he is because he shows it to us. He shows us who he is. Everything he do is seditious. Did you hear how he spoke about the radical left? They don't want to wake up the right and stuff. That's seditious. That's inciting things. That's like a threat. That's an imminent threat.
Yeah, I don't like that. Even look, let me just say it like this, and I got my own reservations on who took Charlie Kirk's life and even his ICE event yesterday, but I do agree with you that it does not further the narrative to have a president accusing the radical left of everything. Even if it's true, let's say the guy who took Charlie Kirk's life is a radical leftist. The guy who did the sniper event on ICE yesterday, taking out 2 detainees or whatever. Let's say it is a radical leftist. Going on TV and doing that does not further the narrative or unite this country in any way. It just makes people hate the radical left. I don't see why he's doing that.
The thing is, they're calling these people that before they even know who the people are who was committing these crimes. And that is seditious. So that's the vocabulary word for the mushies. Seditious. Go look it up.
Yeah.
Everything he does is negative. Look how that prime minister or whatever from Colombia is not having it. He's not going to stop until he brings Trump on charge.
Yeah, speaking of that, because somebody was talking about, MAGA doing whining. I'm surprised the UN. Yeah, that UN speech was, I was listening to that in real time. I'm like, damn, I could not imagine. I was really surprised that nobody during the course of that United Nations speech did not get up and walk out. I'm like, you guys are just letting him just tear you guys apart like that? He literally criticized the entire body. Like, you guys just gonna let him talk to you like that? You guys are all world leaders, for Christ's sake. That's what if I was the president of Colombia or some other nation, that's what I would have stood up and said. We're all world leaders, for God's sake. You gonna let him talk to you like that?
Yeah, how are y'all letting him talk like that? You understand? And his speech wiped everybody else's out. I haven't seen anything. I know Netanyahu's supposed to speak today, right? Or something today.
I didn't hear him.
See where that leads. But again, people are against Trump because of how he displays himself. It's his behavior. You act like a big ass man child. You get up there, you tell all kind of lies, and you get people all riled up and inciting stuff. He has zero leadership skills. He has no morals, and all he cares about him and making money hand over fist. That's why when you see him sitting at that desk, he has his one hand balled up and the other one with his hand open on top, because he's draining the shit out of this country as long as his family is rich.
MAGA sees him as one of the best presidents we've ever had, though, Miss Montbella.
Well, again, those are the mushy folks. Those are they're already, they don't have any critical thinking skill. They don't know how to think outside the box. They can only, like that guy that you just had on, he was regurgitating everything that Charlie Kirk said. So that's how he was just sitting there and watching it, and let me see what sounds good when I repeat it.
But let me ask you this. Let me ask you this way, because this is getting to be a quite a common pushback. Have the liberals, to a greater degree, people of color, black people, just simply got Charlie Kirk wrong? A lot of folks on the right are making it clear that you're hearing sound bites. You're taking this guy out of context. This guy is just simply trying to speak the truth, move the needle a little bit, and all of you guys are just calling this man a racist. Are folks on the left just really getting him wrong?
Absolutely not. Because first of all, he had so much to speak about the black community. How much time has he lived in a black community or even hung out there? How many black friends did he even have for him to be so widespread or whatever about the black community? And a vast majority of his language was black community. I don't care, like you said, I don't care who brought up the subject. But everything he got up there and spoke was most of it, not all of it, most of it was about what the black people are doing. Oh, they shouldn't be sleeping around, or they shouldn't be doing. How the fuck you know what black people are doing and you're not around them? Oh, you're just going up on the stereotypes. Like I said, he was going on the words of his sponsors, because he didn't build that company to be rich. He had the donors that gave him $4.7 million to start that company and different things like that. So it's uncanny to me. I just can't fathom how he had so much to say about black people and never walked a day in a black person's shoes.
Yeah, and I see in the comments, Melissa says, I'm sure he had black friends. I'll just say this, if he did have black friends, with so many people calling him a racist, they would certainly be putting those photos and videos out there. I've seen videos with him. I've seen videos of him dancing with Candace Owens and hanging around Kanye West, and that's all I've seen. I mean,
we saw who Kanye West and Candace Owens was too. They was walking around with shirts that said "White Lives Matter."
Yeah.
Like, come on, they were grifters too. They were all the peas of the same fucking pod. It don't matter what the color of their skin was. They still had the same agenda.
You raise a good point, because I've asked this on the program before, is that, because we're talking Candace Owens and Kanye West, black conservatives. One thing I never could understand, we know what conservative principles are: small government, pro-2A, pro-Christianity, things like that. We know what their principles traditionally are. But one thing I never could understand about black conservatives is, why is it that once you become conservative, you begin to be critical of the black community? I mean,
black people.
Yeah, why is that? Because obviously when you're talking about Charlie Kirk, who had a lot of criticism about black, Candace Owens and Kanye West to a lesser degree, because he was just getting in it. But Candace Owens has been very critical of the black community. Anytime you hear her talking about black people, it's some negative, very similar to Charlie Kirk.
That's because those are the ones who are begging for a seat at the table. They're begging for a seat at the table that they'll never let them eat from. So we're going to string it along. We're going to keep you riding enough to get to say that, oh, we have black people on our side. And then when we don't have any use for you anymore, then we're going to kick your ass back to the curb.
But what about... What about
how Candace Owens is now? She's probably hiding in the bunker now too, because they after her ass too.
Wow. But what about what Jeremy says in the comments? He's saying that black conservatives, once they become conservatives, they start criticizing the black community. His response is because you no longer ignore it. So in other words, if you're a black person living in the hood or living in the black community, you ignore a lot of shit that's problematic. But once you become a conservative, it opens your eyes to what's going on wrong, and then therefore you start criticizing it all the time. That's what Jeremy says. They full
of shit. They full, and they don't be ignored. Again, they're begging for a seat at the table. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
What do you mean by seat at the table? Are you saying to be?
And the thing is, like being a part of Trump's cabinet and things like that. So what they feel, they equate being black as always being poor, being uneducated, and different things like that. So they feel they gotta rub elbows with those conservatives because I need to prove myself to them. Not knowing you can prove yourself to them being from the hood that you came from. How about uplifting the hood that you allegedly came from and different things like that. So their concept is all fucked up. They have a backwards way of thinking. And that's actually the plantation that they keep talking about the Democrats as being on. No, you're actually in the plantation. Let's be truthful about this shit here.
Well, like I said, and I see in the comments, one of my viewers, NC, says it's not being critical of black people, it's critical thinking. You see how the way they live is contributing to their problem. So he's saying that, you're not being critical of black people. You just, once you become a conservative, you realize that black people are living in a certain manner that's contributing to their own detriment, is what he's saying.
But no, a lot of that, again, is learned behavior. When it came to black people, we were always made to fight against each other, to have a certain spot, a certain status, and different things like that. And you're right, Michael. That statement was kind of asinine. So it's like we were always made. We got to fight for this status. So it's like a crab in the barrel type shit. No, I'm not gonna help you out. I just got to help myself get out. And then once you do so-called get out, now I want to criticize you because I got out.
Wow. There's a lot of it. I mean, we can come up with different reasons why, but that's one of the things I've always noticed is black conservatives, the Larry Elders, the Hodge twins, Officer Tatum. Yeah, anytime you hear them talking about the black community, it's negative.
It is, and it's sad because they always, for us to be such a small number in this country, you can't find nothing else to talk about but us. We only 14% of the country. Yeah. And yet we're always highlighted.
Well,
that makes sense.
Well, you said they're trying to get you said they're trying to get a seat at the table. Does getting a seat at the table require they be critical of their own kind?
Yep, you got to sell your soul to be a part of their shit. You're totally selling out to be a part of their shit. See, and that's why they don't like Jasmine Crockett, because on one breath they want to call her ghetto. Then the next minute they say, "Oh, well, she's not from the ghetto. She went to prestigious school." Okay, so what? She went to a prestigious school. We all knew that. We know what she possesses. We know y'all just mad because she got the balls along with the smarts.
Well, the claim is
to be some dumb ghetto bitch, and she's not.
The claim is that Jasmine Crockett lied about where she came from. They're saying that she came from a decent upbringing, and she lied and made it sound like she came from.
She did not lie about that. Her father was in law. Her background is law, and then she carried that on. We knew that. But see, again, you have the maggots, the mushies. You have the mushies that will buy into that bullshit. That she been lying. That's why Kamala didn't win. Because they started saying, "Oh, well, she's not black. She claimed to be XYZ." And what they do, they start focusing on that stuff and ignoring that the actual qualifications, the skills, the IQ level, and the gusto that they have.
Well, how about this? Jay Krog's 18 in the comments says, "So why does Jasmine Crockett fake a ghetto accent?"
Her accent is she's not faking a ghetto accent. Just because you don't like it, that's your opinion of her. She's not faking shit. Just pay attention when she's up there showing all those receipts against this regime. That's what you pay attention to. How about you close your eyes and listen to what she has to say? No, keep your eyes open because she shows the receipts. That's what you pay attention to.
All right.
Now call it ghetto, call it whatever you want. She's not faking at anything. She's just, again, she has the nerve that the Democrats actually need to go against this regime. And she comes with receipts. They don't like it. Like I told you, Tim, they don't like the fact, they're not mad at the fact that you calling them out for being wrong. They mad because you're exposing them, and everything that's coming out is right about them. Like you said, they always say, "Oh, the left did this, the left did that." Prove it. Prove it and shut our mouth. That's all it takes. Come up with the receipts. Come up with whatever charges you have. Listen, we want criminals caught.
But they see the left. They don't believe it. They see the left as being soft on crime and not trying to have criminals caught. They believe the left wants to put criminals back out on the street.
No, again, that's sedition again. I'm gonna put it forth because he know those people gonna buy into it, and then they gonna keep throwing it out there. And then every time somebody get locked up for pew-pewing somebody, they automatically say, "Oh, that's left. That's the radical left."
Yeah. Well, I think.
And one thing I want question that I have for the maggots up here, like Jeremy, because he's always running his mouth. What exactly is ghetto?
That's a great question.
What exactly is ghetto?
That's a great question. I gotta move it on. I would love to hear somebody answer that, but I gotta move it on, Miss Mobetta.
Yeah. Bring a maggot up, bring a mushy up, and hopefully they got an answer. What the fuck is ghetto?
Bring a mushy
because
up.
We ain't going around here saying trailer park trash. We ain't doing none of that. So what is ghetto? I need a true definition of that.
I would like to hear that as well myself. Miss Mobetta, thank you for coming through.
Indeed.
All right, good talk. Moving on with the program. This lady is what good for thee is not good for me. You would have to explain what you mean by that, MC. Ghetto is as ghetto does. That doesn't answer the question at all. That's a good way of saying a lot that has no meaning. What ghetto is as ghetto does. What the hell does that mean? They wouldn't be relevant if they didn't have us to drag on. So, okay, all right, tap the screen. Can we get up to 80,000, if you will? Tap the screen, get the likes on up. Yeah, I see a lot of folks asking, what is ghetto? I like to know now, too. So somebody let me know in the comments, what is ghetto? Because people were saying that, you know, what do you call it? So, Melissa says you are ghetto. So are you talking about me or my last caller, Melissa? She says you are ghetto. What is ghetto? I will ask that question. You know, if we're going to say Jasmine Crockett is ghetto, what is ghetto? What denotes somebody being ghetto? Teen accused of threatening teen accused of threatening school shooting in Falmouth, Massachusetts, freed on $2,500 bail. You know, I'd have to see more details on that. I mean, because they say he's in there for threatening to do it. You know, if you had a kid that's getting bullied by the classroom, I'm gonna fuck around and come up here and blast this whole classroom up. He's threatening to do it. Is that really worth keeping him in jail for months and months? I'd have to hear more of what the threat was. But I do see your comment. Some teenager that threatened to shoot up the school got released on a $2,500 bill. I need to see more information on it. Ghetto is bad behavior in blaming other people for your own failure. That could be any fucking body. To me, bad behavior, he says ghetto is a behavior that shows disrespect for, now that's a little different because at first Gregory says ghetto bad behavior in blaming other people for your own failure. That could be anything. I mean, there are people who blame others for their failures throughout all different genres of life. Plenty of wealthy people do that. You know, plenty of poor people do that. Plenty of folks living in the ghetto, in the trailer parks, Asian, you name it. Plenty of people do that. So I don't see how that just comes across as ghetto. Now, the heavy metal Tin Man says ghetto is a behavior that shows disrespect for their fellow man along with no self-respect. Disrespect for fellow man is once again something that people of all walks of life do. I mean, there's people, look, shit. We talking about Trump right now. Do you think Trump shows respect for anybody? I don't know. That could go a lot of different directions. If that's your definition of ghetto, we'll go with it. But I think people not showing others respect is all over the damn place. Miss Mobetta said that's insanity. Ghetto is not a color or a race. It's a general opposite of hillbilly, stupid, snaggletooth. I can work closer with that. Ghetto is being poor and uneducated. To me, if I had to describe what ghetto is, it's probably the poor and uneducated part, possibly. But listen, that's where it came from. I believe what the Germans were doing to the Jewish people. They put them in an area and they couldn't live anywhere else, and it was called the ghetto. And I believe that's kind of what happened in America during the era of redlining and things like that. You kept the people impoverished. You kept them in a certain neighborhood. So it was guaranteed that the people in this neighborhood are going to be black and they're going to be poor. That's, to me, that's where I see a poverty neighborhood. And to me, that's what I see it is you kind of just keep these people under wraps, keep them under control, prevent them from really branching out or climbing a social ladder, and they're stuck in that neighborhood. That, to me, that's what ghetto was. They equate ghetto to black people, and we aren't. Well, I can see why they would equate ghetto to black people, though, because those are the folks they marginalized. Those were the folks that were forced to stay in certain neighborhoods and forced to be in poverty. That's the way the system was set up. You only could climb so high on the social ladder, and you could only live in certain neighborhoods. So you packed a bunch of people in a certain neighborhood or in sometimes these project buildings or whatever. It was designed to be that way. To me, that's what ghetto is. Going back to ghetto is systemic. Ghetto is something that was created by the system. We'll continue on, though, with Gangsta Grandma. Wrong side of the tracks. Is the MAGA hat a troll? No, it's not. The MAGA hat is hold on a second, Gangsta Grandma. When you asked if the MAGA hat is a troll, I've watched you off and on for the last year, and I could never tell if you're trolling. We're not trolling. The reason I have the MAGA hat behind me on every live is because I do believe that conservatives, Republicans, and particularly MAGA don't often get a fair shake in the media. So regardless of my politics, the MAGA hat is to always let my viewers know you're going to get a fair shake on this program without any concern of being blocked, banned, or censored. Just because your politics are here or there or even far right does not mean a damn thing on this program. You're going to be allowed to speak, even if it's critical of yours truly or anybody else. So you'll always see the MAGA hat because we are MAGA friendly. We say that on every show. We've been MAGA friendly since day one. We always will be. Gangsta Grandma, good evening. Gangsta Grandma, are you there? We caught Gangsta Grandma slipping. All right, nevertheless, we'll move it on. I'm sure I'll hear about that. After talking about ghettos and poverty and all that, do you understand Palestine? That's a great, great question. The Palestinians have been treated in that exact same fashion. They've been marginalized, so they can only climb so high. They're forced to live in Gaza. If they want to even visit the West Bank, they had to ask for permission. They have no ability to obtain a passport and travel internationally or anything like that without the permission of Israel. Yes, that is a great point. Gaza, before October 7th, was a perfect example of a ghetto. That's a great example. That was a perfect example of how you set up a ghetto. We're going to put these people in this area. We're going to control everything, the comings and goings to this area, the utilities, even how much fishing they could do in the Mediterranean or whatever that sea is off to the West Coast. Everything was controlled by Israel. That is a perfect example, Gaza was, of a ghetto. And I see in the comments, though, Draco says that's all lies. Okay, fair enough. I disagree with you 100%, but yeah, Gaza was a perfect example of that. Evil Majin Boo, good evening. Welcome to the program.
Hey, man.
Hey.
How's it going?
Not too bad. In the trenches as usual. Good to hear you. Good to hear you again. So what do you think? Comey has been indicted.
Huh?
You got some background noise. Radio, TV. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. So Comey's indictment, justice or vengeance?
I would say
something that needed to be done?
I would say to a certain extent.
So they're going after him because they state he allegedly lied before Congress, and you believe he did.
I believe he lied to a certain point, but I think he was honest. Now, I also think that the Trump administration, they have some stuff behind it though, but they should be looking more into actual, what is he doing outside of that though? It's because I agree with your last caller. It was the other one that was talking about, this is all of a distraction now. So.
A distraction from what?
From the Epstein files, Trump looking stupid at the United Nations, why is he complaining over, some stupid staircases,
I don't know. Apparently he thinks there was a hit or something, that somebody was trying to make him hurt himself or something.
Look, the man has fat ankles. All right, so he can't. I'm not lying though.
Yeah, that's true.
He has fat ankles. There's a reason why they call him Kink Ankles. All right,
I've never heard that. Wow.
So there is nothing new. He's getting upset, sitting up there basically saying, "Oh, you need to stop what you're doing. Your countries are going to hell," and all this. Man.
So what is this, a case of digital underground? All right, stop what you're doing because I'm about to ruin the ankles that you're used to. I mean, do you really? And what about Trump suggesting that it was somebody maybe trying to make him hurt himself, maybe trying to make him fall?
No. Nobody wasn't trying to do nothing to him. What is really going on is that they just want to be all up in his face to make him feel more stupider and more dumber. So, and they actually showed it on the news. One of the press walked down the stairs and it triggered something on it's the stair of the case though, so that's why it stopped though. So
yeah, I heard a videographer, because most of the escalators, they do have an emergency button you can push to stop it.
Right.
And I heard that, they say one of his videographers or somebody bumped up against the button, but Trump is demanding a full investigation on what happened because he believes somebody tried to sabotage, I guess, his image, because if he had fell down or something with Trump making fun of Joe Biden all these years, if he falls down, it's going to instantly become a meme.
Yeah, he's a baby in diapers. He needs to be up on the top of the White House of the building. He needs to fall his ass off and crack his
Damn! You don't want the president to actually hurt himself, do you?
Yes, I do.
Why would you say that?
Because he's a big baby in big diapers. Okay? He gets upset. He wants things to go his way. He wants everybody to try to act like, I want to censor Jimmy Kimmel. I want to censor, Jimmy Fallon. I want to censor everybody on this. I bet you right now that the owner for the UFC will make fun of him and...
You're talking about Dana White.
Huh?
The owner of the UFC is Dana White. You're saying you think Dana White is going to make fun of Trump?
Probably at some point, but...
I can't imagine that. I mean, him and Trump go way back.
Yeah, well...
I mean, not only that, but when Trump had that military parade for his birthday, the UFC under Dana White sponsored that, why you see the big UFC banner behind them when they were sitting there watching the tanks and stuff go by. I hear they're even trying to have a UFC match at the White House. Him and Dana White are pretty big, pretty tight with each other. I don't see him and Dana White having a falling out.
I don't know. I think that whole parade was a disrespect. It's because for a person coming from a military type of, of the background, there is no way in hell that there is going to be some type of a USC thing at the White House or doing like anything. Now, going to that whole parade, exactly, that was a waste of time. That was just such a waste of money. And
what about
everything.
Folks who say that was a show of patriotism and we need that in this country?
It was a waste of showing how weak we are.
How so? We showed some of our finest military gear. How do you say we showed how weak we were?
Because
you did see the guys marching well out of step. I guess that could be part of it. They were not in step.
You saw him walk out of category, like when he went to go and meet with President Puchajaz. He was walking not in a straight line. He was walking kind of awkward, and then he wants to sit there and actually be like, which way do I go? Is it right or left? Or hold on, is it in back of me? He looked confused. He looked stupid. So,
wow. Well, let me ask you something. Now that we've had Trump for, 8-9 months almost, how do you see the country as opposed to under Biden? Because a lot of folks felt that under Biden, we were the laughing stock of the globe. People were not taking this country seriously. Now that we have Trump, others are saying, now we got a boss in the White House. You've seen the UN speech. How do you see America, in your opinion, being viewed globally under Trump as opposed to Biden?
Honestly, I would say it's really sad how America is going right now, because we look weak by accepting the plane. We look weak as in celebrating a man who got shot in the neck and not focusing on, actual things that would bring America back to the original part of the glory. And it's really sad that, we're not.
But when when you say we celebrated a man that got shot in the neck, some people are going to say that's the radical left that done that.
No. It's not the radical left. It is not the LGBTQ or anything. It is the very, very far right. Face it or not, look at the facts of it. It's the far right that actually got Charlie Kirk killed and shot.
How did I need you to elaborate. How did the far right, because people believe that the person that did it was a leftist. Trump believes he was a radical leftist. How are you saying the far right cost Charlie Kirk his life? Because he was an ally to the far right.
Trump is delusional. Trump is going down the same road just like what Biden is going to be doing. He is going to be hiding out. He's going to be getting delusional. He is going to be putting on a lot of airs at the White House. You can already see his hands are turning different colors. Dementia is definitely setting in. It's really, really setting in. If you don't know what it is, type in and look it up though.
So you see, what do you say? He's not going to be with us much longer or something?
To a certain point, yeah.
Let me ask it to you this way. Trump has officially 3 years and a couple months. I believe he has a little bit more than three years in office remaining. Do you think he's going to physically do them?
A long 3 years. It is going to be a long.
Yeah, it's been a long 9 months already. But do you believe he is physically?
Hell yeah.
Do you believe he is physically going to complete his term? Really?
It's hard to really say, but I would like to see him kind of step down and try to get somebody else. It's because his health is just not in shape though. So
wow. I'm just going to tell you, a lot of folks on the right would certainly disagree with you. They see Trump as being quite vibrant. I mean, I'm going to tell you, he's on TV damn near every day. He doesn't seem to have a problem talking to the media. Biden was talking about he needed to go to sleep and get more sleep. Trump is online in the middle of the night sending stuff out. So he doesn't come across as what you're saying. He seems to be quite vibrant for a 79-year-old man.
I think Trump at night is sucking his thumb and he's typing away though, so that's what he's really doing.
Wow, I wasn't expecting to hear that. I gotta move it on, but in my comments in regards to you, evil Superman, Arceon says your current guest sounds like he had to buy his high school diploma. Hey, Mike and Mo Better still wear helmets to school. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. So you got a detractor suggesting that you had to purchase your high school diploma. I'll give you the last word.
Very, very funny. I actually got my BA in aviation, so I actually have my pilot license. So
wow. Do you have the merit? You sound. Are you African American? Are you black?
I am Italian. I am African. I'm African, like American, and I am I'm Egyptian too.
You would scare the shit out of Charlie Kirk. I gotta move it on, evil. Appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate it. All right, by the way,
take care.
Anytime. Moving the program on. That's not nice. He was actually speaking some truth, says Arsha. Well, I let my guest talk. By the way, for folks who are wondering how to call in, come on over to the Handsome Liberal on Instagram or TikTok. We'll bring you right up. That's how the program works. We don't have an official number. I'm working on that, though. I think I may have a way to allow folks to actually use a phone to call in. We're working on that. But right now, we're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. We'll bring you right up. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't allow people to call in. So if you're watching on YouTube and you want to call in, you got to go to TikTok or Instagram. Same name across all platforms, The Handsome Liberal. We're also on Rumble, X, Truth Social, and Clapper. But right now we're broadcasting live on the apps I just gave you, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We're currently live on all of those. I'm trying to get to the point where we're going to start being live on either X or Truth Social. Because I'm just going to tell you, I'm questioning whether we're going to remain live on TikTok once this switch happens. I'm concerned with how TikTok will be ran going forward. I'm really concerned with that. So we'll see how it goes, but I am concerned with that. And if I don't favor what TikTok is doing, all of those other apps, Clapper allows people to call in. Rumble does. We're on there. We're on Clapper. We're on Instagram. So there are plenty of other platforms where we can continue the party and do what we do. But I am concerned with how TikTok will be ran once this takes place. Because in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong, and I do want to be wrong on this, but my opinion, it sounds like they're going to take TikTok out of the hands of China and basically put it in the hands of Trump associates. Just a bunch of close friends of Trump. So do I believe that Trump is going to be fair with all of the programming on here? That's not Trump's MO. Trump is pro-Trump. If you're on here and you're being critical of Trump, I'm not for sure that something may not be done to, shadow ban your account or something like that. So we'll see what happens, though. But anyway, looking in the comments, when Trump says we, he's talking to his 1% club, not Americans. Yikes. If they pay the tariff, the cost of goods must go down, which means demand goes down. Message you on, okay, I'll look for that Western Sigil. I didn't see your message on Instagram, but I will look for it. Let me go back to the box. We'll continue on with King Finn. Good evening. Welcome to the program, King. Do you hire male hoes when there is a MAGA convention? Do I hire male hoes? Don't know what that means.
Just crash grinder.
Huh?
That's all. They just crash grinder.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to worry about it. That's what happened in the biggest Klan rally that ever happened the other day. They had a gigantic Klan rally and they crashed grinder.
Did they crash grinder again in Arizona?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that was the news. Other than them leaving all that nasty ass trash out. Bunch of stinking ass motherfuckers gonna leave your chairs trash, your water bottles, your funky some of them bitches pick up your trash. That's not nobody else's job. Nasty motherfuckers, but y'all are Christians. Y'all are morally sound. You motherfuckers is morally bankrupt. However, so go into your topic of the day. You know damn well that shit ain't nothing but vengeance, man. And personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Comey, but I understand he was pushed to do that because that's what he was dealing with at the time. Just like a lot of motherfuckers, like Bill Barr, a couple of different motherfuckers pushed by the Trump administration to do shit. Because, I mean, personally, with these motherfuckers running around talking about them fucking emails and how Hunter Biden's laptop was so fucking important, we never found nothing on that shit. Not a damn thing. Even if you say Benghazi, that shit sounds stupid. How the fuck was she supposed to tell them that shit? She didn't have nothing to do with that.
Well, she was the secretary.
It's all a big plan based of bullshit.
Well, the argument in regards to Hillary Clinton and Benghazi is she was the Secretary of Defense. They requested air support, I believe. That's when Ambassador Stevens got killed. And I mean, they were requesting help, and apparently it got denied or something like that. That's why they were blaming Hillary Clinton for Benghazi. If I'm correct, that's been years ago, but if I'm correct.
Exactly. But it's been years ago and it's still bullshit. But it's still rolling around in these fake ass MAGA motherfuckers' minds. However, so I will submit to you that I think we need to have a new classification of these fake ass MAGA motherfuckers who run around talking about they so Christian. I would argue with anybody, if you could show me a way where you cannot say that MAGA is not Christian, they are antinomian.
What the hell is that? I ain't never heard of that before.
Antinomian. A-N-T-I-N-O-M-I-A-N. Antinomian.
Elaborate. What the hell is it?
Well, basically it says that they're not Christian. They think they can basically do whatever.
Did my caller get a call? I'll give him a... Okay, you dropped. Go ahead. Repeat that again.
Hold on. Bring up the key.
I think my caller is... Something's happening with King. We'll hold it. We'll moving on. Why would he be in hell? Yo, you're in hell. Somebody says ninja, please. Again, for the idiots in the back. All right, who is the dumb Uncle Ruckus on the phone? I don't think he fits the definition of an Uncle Ruckus. I don't think you didn't hear him long enough. You're throwing me. Took me a minute to figure out what you were doing there, Daniel. Real quick in the comments though, we all know who lost their freedom of speech, and it wasn't Jimmy Kimmel and Bits. I like how you did that. He says, "Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk." I don't think most of the country agrees with you though, Paul. I don't think most of the country agrees with you. I think many Americans, even on the right, and I'm going to say even on the right because you had plenty of folks on the right speak up, I think many Americans did believe that Trump was behind what ABC was doing to Jimmy Kimmel. I don't believe that folks... I don't believe that most folks view what Jimmy Kimmel did as crossing the line with Disney and your employer can fire you if you do something wrong. No, I think most folks realize, because what he said was pretty damn mild, in my opinion. Now, I know MAGA may disagree with this, but he basically suggested that Charlie Kirk lost his life at the hands of MAGA. President Trump said it was the radical left before we even knew who the killer was. Nobody complained about Trump rushing to judgment. Okay, Jimmy Kimmel, if he gets it wrong, he gets it wrong, but we were totally okay with Trump accusing anybody and everybody of whatever. So I don't think Disney would have had, because Disney leans left. We know Disney leans left. I don't think Disney would have had a problem with Jimmy Kimmel at all. It was just that powers that be on the right, including whole networks like Sinclair and Nextel or Nexstar, you know, these folks that have a bunch of stations they're in control of, you know, you had a bunch of powerful people that wanted something done. I don't think on its own Disney would have did a damn thing to Jimmy Kimmel. I do not believe the powers that be at Disney thought Jimmy Kimmel did anything wrong. It's just that they had their hands tied where all of a sudden you had the president, the vice president, and many powers in the White House saying this is wrong and something needs to be done about it, and it forced their hand. And then on the other end, you suddenly had a whole lot of their subscribers and their customers backing out from Disney products, forcing their hand in the other direction. And then, of course, when you got the likes of Ted Cruz and Paul Ryan and Candace Owens and all these conservatives speaking out and making it clear this is a violation of free speech. It would have been different if Jimmy Kimmel said what he said, Disney said he crossed the line, we're not going to have that, and they terminated him. But when you got President Trump just all in the conversation, kind of reminds me of the old Suge Knight video. You don't want to produce a dancing in the videos and trying to get on the song. Trump was all involved in that. He should not have been in there. the FCC head talking about we can do it the easy way or the hard way. If what he said was so bad and Disney had to get rid of him, that should be between him and Disney. Why the hell is the head of the FCC talking about doing things the easy way or the hard way? And then President Trump immediately talking about firing other talk show hosts that had nothing to do with saying anything about Charlie Kirk. So it looked like President Trump had successfully intervened and got Jimmy Kimmel canceled, took a victory lap on social media bragging about Jimmy Kimmel needed to be gone, and then was moving on to Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers. Within 24 hours, he was now telling NBC, now you need to get rid of these guys. I mean, it just seemed like the guy was taking a victory lap and going and chopping down his adversaries. But to defend Trump and make it clear that he's not trying to go after free speech, let's just say he crossed the line with Disney and they did it. Yeah, but you can't undo all of the stuff that he said that he shouldn't be saying. So I think that's where most people saw it. And that's where Ted Cruz saw it. That's where Candace Owens saw it. That's where most of Hollywood saw it, et cetera, et cetera. They didn't see it as Jimmy Kimmel crossing the line. Stephen Colbert is gone soon too. But the problem is, I don't know if you guys realize this, because Fox News got rid of Megyn Kelly. She's doing just fine now. Fox News got rid of Bill O'Reilly. He's doing just fine now. There's a huge, huge audience on social media. As I pointed out earlier, Jimmy Kimmel now, because of what just happened, he has more YouTube subscribers than Megyn Kelly. Candace Owens has like 5 million some odd. Ben Shapiro has like over 7 million. Jimmy Kimmel has more subscribers than all of them combined. Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly, Ben Shapiro. He has more subscribers than all of them combined. He now has 21.4 million. I checked it earlier today. Jimmy Kimmel has 21.4 million subs on YouTube. That's more than Joe Rogan at this point. Joe Rogan has like 20 something. That's a huge fucking page. I submit to you, that is enough to have a successful show without ABC, because Joe Rogan is very successful on YouTube and he's not on TV. So because folks went after Jimmy Kimmel, the same statement they've been making about Charlie Kirk, how you made him a martyr trying to silence him, you just blew Jimmy Kimmel up. I don't know if people are watching Jimmy Kimmel or not, but with an audience of 20 million, that's a lot of room. When Stephen Colbert goes off the air, if him and Jimmy Kimmel were to move in that slot, I mean, and that's just subs. That don't count all the people that watch it that don't sub and the new ones. That's a huge, huge page now. So, we can say Jimmy Kimmel was not funny or didn't have ratings or whatever. That don't appear to be the case. Stephen Colbert is the best. Conan O'Brien also, says Carlos. Yeah, people like those people. Well, many have made agreements to make factories and bring infrastructure here. Making an agreement and actually carrying it out are two different things, though. Under the first Trump administration, there were people making promises. They never actually carried it out. So we got to see how it actually ends up. David Traxler, I think that says. We'll try to bring him up. And thank you folks that are tapping the screen. We might reach 100,000. People fail to realize not everyone is going to like what you like. That is absolutely true, Sassy. 100% true. Greg Gutfield has higher ratings. Yeah, but Greg Gutfield definitely has higher ratings than any of the other night show hosts. But Greg Gutfield has an inherent advantage, even though he's on Fox News. Just like you often hear people say that Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel are not as funny as like Jay Leno, or not as funny as Johnny Carson was. They didn't get the ratings of Johnny Carson or Jay Leno. Keep in mind, during the time Johnny Carson was on the air, you didn't have all the channels you could tune on. You didn't have the internet. You only had a very select amount of programming you could watch. So Johnny Carson is naturally going to have more ratings. Same even applies to Jay Leno, because you didn't have the internet throughout most of Jay Leno's career. With Jimmy Kimmel, there's now thousands of things you can watch on the air. Now, Greg Gutfield has a higher rating than Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon or some of these other night show hosts for similar reasons. if you're a conservative, you don't have a lot of options. Jimmy Kimmel's the only night show host really that gives you programming from a conservative point of view. All the rest of them are bashing Trump and coming at you from a liberal point of view. So if you lean left, Kimmel, Colbert, Seth Meyers, Conan O'Brien, all of them got to compete with each other. Greg Gutfeld doesn't have to compete with anyone because nobody is offering what he's offering. So that's the difference, is Greg Gutfeld is going to have higher ratings because his audience don't have anywhere else to go. So yeah, he's going to have a higher audience. But if there's, if more folks start, putting out conservative material, right-wing comedy, so to speak, then he would have competition. But right now, Greg Gutfeld don't have any competition. Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy are way better than Jimmy or Jimmy. You said, you're saying Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy are way better than Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert. Well, first of all, there's apples and oranges. Jimmy, when you're looking at Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy, like Delirious and some of that, that's adult comedy. You think they took Jimmy Kimmel off the air for what he said about Charlie Kirk. Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor would have been actually acting out shooting scenes of the guy. I mean, you don't have the range if you're Stephen Colbert or if you are Jimmy Kimmel that Richard Pryor using the N-word and all. They don't have the range. I don't know. I don't know for certain. I would tend to agree. Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor probably are more funnier than Kimmel and Colbert. But I would have to see Colbert and Kimmel do stand-up where they can actually have the freedom to do whatever they want, as opposed to being on ABC and CBS where they are heavily limited. There's no limitation on Richard Pryor. He can do whatever the hell he wanted to do. Any veterans or service members out here, thank you for your service and your dedication to keep us safe. You're all heroes to this country and sacrificing your life for our safety every day. Thank you. I appreciate that, Ignatius. That is true. My sentiments are the same. But yeah, I'm not going to compare Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert, what they do on CBS and ABC, to Richard Pryor being in a venue where he can say any damn thing he wants. Show me Stephen Colbert on stage somewhere, and then we can compare them. But on CBS, you can't do that much. Did I miss anything there? Anyway, did we get to 100,000? Not quite. Thank you guys that are tapping the screen. I got another viewer we'll go ahead and bring up. I think it says Bradford. Good evening. We'll see if we can bring him on Instagram, by the way. See if that actually brings him up. We've been having some problems with Instagram. I don't know why, but we'll try to make it work. And Richard Pryor wasn't on public television. Richard Pryor, I think he did do a Johnny, I think, because a lot of them in the beginning, they do stints. I think Richard Pryor did do, what do you call it? I think he did do Johnny Carson early in his career. And I don't know if Eddie Murphy did any of that. He might have, because Eddie Murphy did Saturday Night Live, and so did Richard Pryor, I think. But yeah, being at a venue, you can do a whole lot more than you can do on, what did I hit there? Hold on stage. So it is somewhat of a difference. So it is what it is. Nevertheless, I do got to step away, folks. Apparently my live stream is freezing. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Subscribe to the program. See you tomorrow.